Are you ready? Is, who's here? Oh, is okay. I can see your face. I can see your hand, but I can't see your face. The time is now 5:02, and I call this Finance Committee of the Flint City Council to order. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Al Alamein is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson is not in.
Oh, hurry up! Get to your seat.
Ms. Johnson? Present. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Machette? Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 3 members present.
We have 3 members present. We do not have a quorum, so we'll be waiting on that. What was that, Ms.? Is that permissible with? Oh, yeah, but we haven't gotten to agenda changes. We can't do that. Oh, yeah, I can. What's the special order? I have to look.
They are here, we are not, so now we're wasting their time.
That's right. Oh, I didn't know that was there. Okay, yep, we will do that. I'll make a note.
Go to the same church. I know that's right. I thought she was coming over here. Hey, girl! Miss Shake made me push the wrong button trying to film up. Can't just. Okay. Get close now so Miss Bill don't say no jump. Yeah. Oh, like I said, people, this is our president, Candace Machek. And her and my neighbor, they can't get along for some reason, and they go to the same church. But I don't know what's the deal with these Christians, so-called Christians. I don't know if they're hypocrites or what, but I let the shack call the shots since we in her courtroom, her council room, and she the president of the council. And right now, we ain't got a phone, and we only got 3 people here. Gotta have 5 or 6.
Madam Secretary, could you please contact the council members and see if they are coming?
It's 17, it's 17 now. Say something else about you. What you think about it? Okay. Yeah. Good. Put the guy on there, come on. Put it. Everybody's stalling, always stalling on the phone. You get nothing done. They never run down. It's a powerful phone. If I had a phone, they always just, your battery running down, sir, hooking in the wall. Then it's not smoke. That's why I want you to jump in trouble. Yeah, what's with that? Give me them free phones. I got 4 running my down. I ain't moving. Yeah, look at the box. Put his face in and watch and see. That's why I talk like he talk. Oh, see what you want. Hey, John, what's going on, man? I've been right here in my city, man. Sit down. Man, I was over by your house. Man, it's church today. City Park. You know what Longfellow High School? You say you bought it, right? I went to McDonald's, man. They tripping over there. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Man, come on, talk. The palm tree, that's where you at. Yeah. I was over there today, too. The whole neighborhood. Man, I was over there. Man, they got them super fighter jets came out of the clouds out of nowhere. I don't know if you want to see it. What Trump in town or something? And they, you see them too? There's something going on in here. And they was looking what I was looking at. And they was, y'all don't know what's going on in the place. I think. Okay, man. I'll be. They got that pull my neighbor out of the top. He over there. No wonder. He filming us too. He said, the other black woman said, get that thing out of that top of me. The one that pulled, you know why he was riding the car?
The time is now 5:15, and I'm going to call this meeting back to order. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Mr. El Alamin is not in. Dr.
RL.
Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson. Ms. Priestley.
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Present.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Machette.
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
Present.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. Reading of disorderly person city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. I'm going to remind myself to please silence your phones per our council rules, because mine is not silenced at this point. Okay, are there any requests for agenda changes? I'm going to move up our special order up to, without objection, to in front of public comment. Is there any other agenda changes? Are there any other agenda changes? Are there any other agenda changes? That is our agenda change. So we'll go ahead, and we have a special order. Let me go to it. As requested by the Councilwoman of the 7th Ward, Candace Machette, in regards to the Greater Flint Health Coalition and grants management. Go ahead.
Thank you. So we know that it's starting to get warmer outside. We're definitely having unseasonably warm weather, along with some other things that are happening. We're seeing an uptick in tornadoes. We're seeing an uptick in just inclement weather all around. Additionally, we are usually late to the draw in trying to put money toward cooling centers, warming centers. We're late to the draw putting money into helping to service our homeless population. So what I wanted to do, much like we did with the opioid dollars, and I feel like this gives us the best opportunity, is to give it to an organization that has a continuum of care, that they will be able to do grants in the same way that they're doing with the opioid money, the same way that they would have to report back to us. But I feel it's best because we do have larger organizations that are already doing this work, but then we also have some smaller organizations that might feel like if they come before city council, it'll be harder for them to get grants for the work that they're doing with the homeless. So at this time, if we could please have the representatives from the Greater Flint Health Coalition join us at the lectern so they can give us a brief presentation, and then we do all have their proposal here in front of us. And like I said, the spirit behind it is the same way that we did with when they are managing the opioid dollars and they have to come and just kind of give those reports to council and let us know what's going on. But the bottom line is to make sure that we are making sure that we are in line with our homeless population and making sure that they're getting the services that they need and it's not held up by any political anything. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, council members. Just a quick aside before I talk about the homeless COC work. We were able to sign the contract on the opioid dollars in April. So we obviously didn't do any work prior to that. So we were thinking mid-July coming in prior to the RFPs going out, so you could review the RFPs, kind of the thought process around the buckets. I just want to make sure I updated you because we hadn't been in yet. It was because we hadn't signed the contract. We were going back and forth with legal. So I want to make sure that you know about that. And so that's that piece there. So about a year and a half ago, I believe that time is correct, we took over as they call the Collaborative Applicant Infrastructure Organization for the COC, and the COC is the Continuum of Care. A number of years ago, HUD localized the homeless response system, and made it all local with a lot of involvement at the community level. And they created these COCs, or the Continuums of Care. We're not a homeless serving entity. We don't provide service. We provide services to those who provide service. So these dollars would not be spent on us. We're not asking for those dollars won't be used for us to provide homeless services. We will provide help to those that do. I'll have Kristen Pollard talk about some of the loss in federal funding and how we think these dollars are extremely important. As you know, when you provide emergency service grants, or you have federal dollars that come in, you provide emergency service grants, those have to be matched 100% at the local level. Many times homeless service entities are just barely making it, and at times in the past we've had to send money back because we couldn't meet that match. These dollars would be eligible for the match as well. That's not the purpose of the dollars, but it's an added benefit that these dollars can be used also to match, so we can pull down more federal dollars to make sure that the money goes out. So as you mentioned, I think in the introduction, we have sort of the more established, longer serving homeless shelters, and I'll name a few of those, like My Brother's Keeper, Shelter of Flint, Carriage Town. You know, some organizations serve just the youth or older folks. Some serve men, some serve families, some serve just women. The COC has multiple layers that make sure that all folks are involved, and there's a good standing commitment. They have to meet a certain number of meetings in order to be in good standing, which allows them to participate in the votes of the COC. I'll let Kristen talk about that, but our thought process was we would run this through our Finance Committee and our Governance Committee so that there's lots of input and that it would meet the needs of the community. So we're not just picking winners and losers. The committee would have an RFP process and would look at it based on the need. We'll talk about some of those programs that we would want to have funded. As you mentioned also, you're going to have some folks that come in here that may be starting off, doing some good work or beginning to do some good work in the homeless serving organizations. we would want to do some mini grants as well to help get them some capacity, help them get going. I'm going to turn it over to Kristen, though, because she actually does this work, so she can actually talk more about the specifics than I can.
Yeah, so I'll just add that we are excited about this opportunity because we've had significant decreases in our funding over the last couple of years. The Department of Housing and Urban Development has...
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Could I ask the people in the back to please be quiet? We are having trouble hearing our speakers. Thank you.
I can
Go
get
ahead.
a little closer to the mic as well. So the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is also known as HUD, is the funder of the Continuum of Care, and they have, in our last round of funding, which was back in 2024, actually cut one of our major transitional housing grants that serve the city. And going into this year's funding round, which we'll be submitting in August, we are anticipating some major cuts again because of the administration shifts and their shifts on focus areas from really not an interest in permanent supportive housing, and which is a critical housing component for our homeless individuals, especially those populations with mental health issues. So we're worried about losing those dollars, and we have a strong anticipation of other programs being cut. So these dollars will be very mighty in helping us to make sure that we're not losing. We're still being able to help people either achieve housing, achieve self-sufficiency, or even achieve just diversion or preventing homelessness. That's another component of some of the dollars that our COC partners spend money on is diverting folks so that they don't actually become homeless. We know that, data has shown that most people are actually just a couple paychecks away from becoming homeless. So we're interested in avoiding that. I'll pause there. I think that's the overview of funding and what we're interested in seeing these dollars used for. And definitely, like Jim said, opportunities for matching some of the other dollars that are coming through the city and the county. So.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Mashat? Councilwoman? Go ahead.
Thank you for coming in tonight. I'm excited about this because we do have a homelessness problem. Like that's a majority of, I think, our fires and our housing, vandalism, and so on and so forth. I'm interested to know because, and obviously we won't have this data right away. Like I said, I'm excited for this. I want these folks to get help, but I want to asterisk that. And my asterisk is, and it may be something somewhat controversial what I'm about to say, some people choose this lifestyle. And I want this money to go to the folks that really want help, and not an open door policy for the folks that choose this lifestyle. So how do we mitigate throwing good money after bad for the folks that just want to abuse the system and don't want to actually get a hand up? That's my concern about the homeless the homeless programs is we don't necessarily we just hand out money and hand out programs. Well, there's people abusing that system that have no interest in getting help. And I want to make sure that we zero in and focus on the folks who really want help in the hand up. How do we go about doing that? Do you understand my?
I do 100%, and we've already started working on that exact issue. And so I got 2 points I want to make sure I bring to you on this. So I'm going to get in the weeds here a little bit, but it's important. So there's these things called housing vouchers, housing choice vouchers, I believe is the name. Mm-hmm. And the way they've been done for a long time, and it was well-intentioned, it just didn't work, was the folks that were, as you're mentioning, they're just, and I wouldn't say that there may be some folks who are choosing it. Some of them may have substance abuse issues, some of them may have mental health issues.
Sure, but if they don't want help with their substance abuse, if they're
not getting the help, yes. If they're turning it away or they're continuing to use, sometimes they have both. For the longest time, those vouchers were going to the folks that were the hardest hit, and those exact folks. And the problem was, if you're not ready to get help or not choosing to get help,
Right.
you're not going to ever, that voucher's never going to get used for you. And it's not like and the way the vouchers work is if I give you a voucher or you give me a voucher, I'll use myself as that person, and I don't get the help. I don't actually ever take the voucher. They don't go to the next person in line. You just lose that voucher. So what we decided to do as a body, we talked about it, made a policy change. The folks that are closest to being back on their feet, that's who the vouchers are going to. So that like you're getting those folks that are really close, maybe something bad happened to them, maybe a fire, maybe something that happened that was out of their control, maybe lost their job, in between jobs. We get them back using the vouchers first so that they're going to be successful. One, we'll get more vouchers that way, and we won't lose vouchers and send them back. And also that we'll be able to help the folks that maybe they want help, they don't know how to get help, maybe they've been in the system for so long, they maybe have co-occurring issues with mental health and substance abuse. That's a very specific population that takes different help.
Right.
So we've changed policy on that one, and we took over a second component. There's like real 4 components to the housing COC, and it's called HMIS, and it's the data system. So we're trying to really dive into data so that if people are shelter hopping or getting going to multiple places, we can figure out why they're doing that and really try to help the folks that are really just, like as you're mentioning, that are maybe something bad happened to them and they just need a break, right? They just need help getting out of that situation, a hand up, as you mentioned. So those policies are kind of in place now with the COC or becoming to be in place. So I feel like we can make sure those resources are used most effectively and most efficiently so we can get people out of homelessness. The whole point is not to stay in it forever, right? It's to get it in, and if something happens to you, you can get back out of it and get back your life together. So that's what we're
There almost,
direction.
in my opinion, there almost needs to be maybe 2 or 3 different buckets of what we're calling homeless people, right? Of the folks that you said are maybe are there because of a fire or whatever else happened, and then you've got the folks that are drugs and everything else that have, like you said, they're not ready to get help yet. So I want to make sure that we focus on people that want to get the help and not expend those services and those dollars in a losing manner. So that's all I had to say. Thank you, sir.
And can I just add on to that topic? One issue that we've been seeing for the last 2 years that we've been working on these issues is this idea of chronicity. And there are a lot of folks, we have a really long wait list of people who are homeless, who are waiting for help. Probably 50% of that list are categorized as chronically homeless, meaning they're kind of cycling in and out of the system, in and out of help. And that's a really difficult population to serve. And so we've been having multiple meetings over the last several months, really since last October, when we started planning for the warming centers, around what can we do as a COC to and as a community to have a space to really solve that issue as much as we can. And to your point, there are people who choose to be homeless and want to stay homeless, and that's their prerogative. But there are people who really need more help and more wraparound services, and so we're really thinking about creative ideas to try to serve those folks. And so not necessarily that these dollars would be used for that purpose, but I just want to lift up that that's a real concern that our COC has and is talking about regularly.
So just to circle back on the other funding that we've given is the opioid thing. So what services through those dollars can help those that are in the merry-go-round of drug addiction and homelessness? Like, is there an opportunity to mend or merge some of these services?
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about this is that the COC, some of those organizations that serve folks with substance abuse issues, almost all of them are on the COC, and if they're not, we would encourage them to join. And we'll do our best to make sure that we're blending those services. I just had a call with the state opioid office. They want to do more kind of supportive housing with their dollars as well, so we could actually leverage some of our dollars here and use some of theirs. So we're actually taking some of our money and actually multiplying it. And as Chris was mentioned, we're trying to figure out as opposed to like a warming center or a cooling off, places where you can get cool. Some folks need like a 24/7, 365, so they can get job training, they can get health services, so that they have the choice to not keep this perpetual homelessness if they want. I mean, there's going to be some folks that just aren't in a place where they can ever get out of that, or at least not anytime soon. but there's probably a segment that actually need a little bit more help, and they're not quite ready yet, but they're there, they're close, and then there's the folks that we said are just maybe one step away from being out of it. I think each bucket, I think, is important. Now, the long-term folks, that wouldn't be this money. This would be kind of more of the shelter in and out folks that help up, but we're trying to help provide a plan for all of them, if that makes sense. Thank you, those are great questions.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yep. Well, I guess did you have something?
No, I didn't have any.
Okay. All right. Well, I do want to thank y'all for coming in. And I think, Dennis, you asked a very great question, because when I had an opportunity to speak with them about this, that was one of my questions as well, is what's the process if you see that someone is just actively choosing to not get assistance. And so I like the way that they are dealing with every segment of our homeless population, and how there's opportunities even for teenage runaways. There's opportunities, for families. Like you said, there's opportunities where it's just for men, not just for women, just for children. So I think that, and then on top of that is that you all are able to service the organizations that we know historically deal with the homeless population, but then also your organization will be giving opportunities to some of the smaller organizations or some of the people who have just started doing the work with homeless populations, and so they will have an opportunity to get grants as well and to be able to build up the work that they're doing. And I think that's really important too, is because sometimes we do have people who do a lot of work with the homeless, but they're not necessarily attached to some of the more known organizations. And so I like the fact that this process will also give them an opportunity for not only just for funding, but then also to kind of build up the work that they're doing in their organizations more. So I do thank you for coming in and presenting this proposal before council today. Is there anything else? We have like 6 seconds left. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you.
Go ahead and close out this special. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And appreciate all of the work that you're doing within the community and in regards to the opioid and homelessness. Thank you.
And we'll coordinate with you for the July timeframe to come in for the kind of the first quarter, since we just got the contract signed. Thank you. I'll work that way.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, it's now time for public comment. My computer's about ready to reboot itself, so let me see how. Okay, and members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. Madam Secretary, who is our first public speaker?
Ariel Mitchell.
Hello, Council. I'm Ariel Mitchell. Live in Flint, 759 East Linden Street, over by Graceland Cemetery. And you see Mr. Antoinette come here and try to help us Flintstones out. And he brought the lady that used to work in City Hall downstairs with him, and to be responsible for distributing them bonds and stuff. But anyway, for the record, the day is June 17th. We ain't seen a fight yet. I thought we were supposed to have fights at June 7th, last day of school. Reason why, and I was on the bus going over on Civic Park, and I seen Holmes Street. I go to Mays Center every day, but at the corner of Holmes and DuPont, it was 3 Tahoes and 2 motorcycles, and the popo was in them. I said, what's going on? She said, the bus driver said, I think they got them fellas who shot 218 rounds. They in this area. So I said, don't tell me nothing else. They doing the bushwhack on them, like bushwhack Baghdad. And I continued to go into Mays Theater, and I went in there. Before I got in there, people's all in the lobby blocking me. But I wonder what. I finally went in the room, and one dude was watching a good movie. I said, wait a minute, this looks like Flint. He said, it is Flint. He had millions of dollars floating on the ground, like that dude they put in. I mean, millions of dollars. I said, that's us. He said, that's us, man. He was all in. And I figured, that dude heard me talking this stuff out there. And he was out. And then I'm glad And them popos, about time that we ain't got no ombudsman in Flint. Now every time we get ready to catch, to run down on them dudes who shot up, and they doing the same thing, they casing out the neighborhood. The neighborhood looks up like Grand Blanc, but they know them drive-bys is in that area somewhere, and nobody all is hush mouth like, don't say nothing. And the dark people's, anyway, that's the message for Flintstones. You see how they treating us up here? That dude say, those who pay, stay will pay. You know who I'm talking about. And this is like Jim Jones Purple Kool-Aid. You like just gonna get the darkies that got away. And another thing, Central High School is being built all over again today at the Ribbon. And that was by Northern. If they do Central that way, if we have a Thanksgiving football game, they ought to do Northern the same way. If Chief Wiggins get out of the way, because he up there like it's contaminated with AIDS and COVID-19 and stuff, and we'll get another area. And Kristen, make it work.
Thank you, RL.
Tell her don't make it work.
Thank you.
Stay tuned, America.
Who is our next public speaker, Madam Secretary?
Next speaker is Tracy Wilson.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
RL.
Yes, let me do this in my own time. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I live in the 9th Ward, and for 3 years, I have digitally called Blight, sent pictures. I live on a commercial property, and across from me is I live on a private property, and the one across from me is like a scrapyard. I opened my window the other day, and there was a scrap motor home in front of my house. I called Blight to let them know, but nothing gets done. For 3 years, I've done this. And so you guys are my next step to see if I can get something done about the scrap across my street. And that's really all I just need some help. I need somebody else to go to, somebody above Blight. I don't know. I need to do something to take care of this problem.
Thank you. We can't respond at this point.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Who is our next public speaker?
Next speaker is Mona Yunus. Next speaker is Ja'Cory Hawkins.
Hello, my name is Ja'Cory Hawkins. I live in the 6th Ward. I'm actually doing this a little bit early. I think I realized I was supposed to be signing up for the legislative one, but I do have to leave. So I just want to say my piece now. And so just with the curfew that is looking to be enforced and I think lowered, my main request is that if we're doing things, allow research to be the thing that we're driven by and not reactions, right? I've been in Flint my whole life. I understand that violence has always been a problem, but I also do understand that if you just simply look it up, curfews do not really solve any problems. It's more of just policing the entire youth. And I think we need to look at the youth as not as the problem, but there's a problem within the youth, right? Let's say like 10% of them have an issue. And so my main thing is, if we're going to do something, make sure it's done with research, because we don't want to just simply police our youth and then take away their freedom, take away their ability to be able to enjoy their summers and just whatnot. And that's my main thing. Let's look at it as a community effort and not as a policing effort if we're actually trying to solve issues. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next speaker is David Peachy. David Peachy.
Dave Peachy, 4th Ward. Yeah, I was just going over some of these resolutions here. Resolution 214, 215, 221, 222. Over $1 million are going to these houses, getting refurbished, accessibility. Who are they? Do you people know? Like Mr. Pfeiffer said earlier, people who deserve it, are they getting it, or are people just, how do you put an application in for something like this? I hate to say it, but these construction companies, I don't recognize any of the names. But when I'm driving around, I don't see too many construction companies on the 4th Ward, East Side. I see them over in the 7th Ward. I see them in other places, but I don't see them in the East Side where they really need them. We got more houses burned down than all the wards put together. We just had one burned down across the street from me, burned down twice in 3 days. This money should be accountable to somebody. How do you put an application in for this kind of stuff? Do you know? No. They just, friends are friends. And you know, it's got to end someplace. The land bank the same way. Does anybody hold them accountable for the property they own? They got a system. You won't believe this. On every corner, if you drive down to the East Side right now where the houses are burned down, you check a corner, there'll be 2 houses that they tore down, but they'll leave one. That way they can't sell the property. They maintain it. They send these guys out to cut the grass twice a year. But they get the money for that from someplace. There's big money in that. But they're leaving the neighborhoods where they're no better off than when them houses were sitting there. Last week when there was a fire across the street from me, the fire department couldn't even get to the fire hydrants because the grass was so high. They wrapped their hoses in the extra lot, but the grass was so high they couldn't really, you know, use their water hoses. 2 days later, it burned down again because it didn't burn down all the way. They had to bring a big pumper truck in with a hose, then they put the fire out. But this stuff is Flint is one of the best cities. Well, it's one of the richest. I'm not saying it's the best. They got more money they're wasting. It's just unbelievable. But the people got to start speaking up about this kind of stuff. It can't go on. Just like your schools. How many vacant buildings are there? 22 schools? They say they spend $10 million a year just to maintain the grasses and all this stuff in the school. Now, come on. If that's true, somebody's getting awful rich. I mean, doesn't make any sense. You could tear the schools down for that kind of money, but then you wouldn't get the maintenance fee. Well, that's about all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for announcement for people here, all of our computers have been rebooted by IT, so we lost our timer. So they'll be timing on their phones until mine just came up. So I don't know where theirs are at. So next public speaker, Madam Secretary.
Next speaker is Tanya Jones.
Good evening. I'm here. I'll be advocating for my son that's part of the opioid crisis. Yesterday, I had the worst experience of my life. I did a medical pickup through the courts. It was an ordered medical pickup, and they tased my son. So the fact that they tased him, I done did medical pickup since he's autistic. It's called pervasive development disorder, and he has full-blown sickle cell. And now he's part of the opioid crisis, and the fact of I tried to obey the law, and I try to teach him to respect others, and the fact of I had to witness my son at 11:36 last night be tased like he didn't arrest, like he didn't rob the bank, rape somebody. It was horrible. You know, I mean, I'm supposed to be here to protect them, and I felt defenseless, and the fact that the police did it like that, it was horrible. I mean, I will never do another one, and I see why people, they say, as for parents, we need to be reactive, you know what I'm saying? We need to be proactive other than reactive, but parents like me that's out here concerned, when you step up, they make it so hard. So I'm just saying, the way they did it last night, it was horrible. My son right now, he's supposed to be at the psych ward to be evaluated. It was only a medical pickup, and they basically arrested, told him he was up under arrest and it's supposed to have been a medical pickup. He's been getting medical pickups since his dad got killed. His dad got killed by the Howard State gang in 2012 on Easter Sunday. My son was part of the John Cole case. He went to his apartment at Coolidge Park, and he tried to groom him. But my son, I have an open relationship. He told me about it. I went there, I addressed it, went to the sheriff department, and I told the sheriff about it, and my son was a part of the John Cole case. So my son has been dealing with a lot of stuff, and I'm here advocating for him. But my concern is about, what about the people that don't have nobody to advocate for them? So I go out here, I feed the homeless, I do what I need to do. I feel like it take a village, but this village here in Flint is about connection and corruption. So I feel like we all need to come together. I only can do so much. My son could be dead right now. If it wasn't for me being there, I went live and everything, the way it went, my son could be. Thank God he's still here, but they tased my son over a medical pickup. So they need to find something to come together and do medical picks up in order. So thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. As soon as you get your timer up, we can call the next public speaker up. It's okay. We'll go ahead and continue.
Next speaker is Beverly Biggs Levy.
She's good? Okay. Next public speaker?
Next speaker is Mari.
School's out for summer. That means kids are going to have a lot more time on their hands to either have a fun and productive summer or to get into mischief and mess. I am hoping that we see kids aiming for the first option. We learned from the city job fair earlier this week that our youth want to work, and we need to be doing more as a community to make sure they are well prepared and equipped to succeed. So putting this idea out there now so that next year you work with some of the groups that focus on resume writing, interview skills, and preparing youth to work. The councilwoman in the 2nd Ward has given us her plan for the summer and includes summer jobs, which the city is working on, curfew enforcement, and summer activities for the youth. I have been a strong advocate for third spaces since last summer because our kids and teens deserve to have places to just be kids, which is why I've been working with the council president on creating a series of third spaces pop-ups for teens by teens. We also know that there has been a huge spike in youth crime, including youth meeting up to fight, youth committing crimes with guns, and being involved in gangs. There is no reason why the current curfew should be as late as it is, knowing so many youth are out on the street at night and up to no good. I'm not saying that reducing the curfew is going to solve the problem, but it's another tool that our community has to be able to have to stop the kids that are out and about without supervision. So please lower the curfew to keep more kids safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
The final speaker, it comes from a persons with disability. Pursuant to the Michigan Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act, the final comment comes from Mr. Charles Blackwell, who writes, "Good evening. On tonight's agenda, there is an agenda item for renewal of GPS trackers on city-owned vehicles. Is there a GPS tracker on Mayor Neely's car? I bet he be using his city-owned car to go places he shouldn't be going." That ends Mr. Blackwell's comment for this meeting.
Thank you. It's now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers. Only after all public speakers have spoken, an individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to address the public? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to address 2 comments. Mr. Peachy, I definitely understand your frustration when it comes to the work that is being done in your ward. I am in full support of more properties being demolished in the 4th Ward. It certainly is it appears that we have more work to do in the 4th Ward than other wards. And so I will gladly support my colleague in the 4th Ward in any way that she needs to ensure that you do see the amount of work that you see done in the 7th Ward in the 4th Ward. But I do understand your frustrations. Mari, thank you. As always, thank you for your comments. Thank you for, now you know I'm not on social media like that, but thank you for keeping me updated with all of the questions that you are asking the community daily. And then also, yes, I believe we started working on your 3rd space pop-ups has it almost been a year now? That is crazy that it's almost been a year. But yes, I know that is some of the work that you are going to start doing here in July with the youth. And so I look forward to them having an opportunity to see the work that you've been doing and all of the pop-ups that you do have planned for them throughout the summer. Thank you for your work. I do want you to continue working on getting the other youth up here so that you can do the youth council and then do the youth council takeover that you've wanted to do.
Anyone else? Anyone else? I'll take my time then. We had over 350 kids, I guess they're teenagers, apply for our job program for this summer. So what I'm going to do is ask for any employers out there in it, please turn that down, please. Any employers who would be willing to take on a child so that the government's not paying for them to work. It's to give them a summer job, to teach them, mentor them. Please reach out to Miss Shelley Sparks Green so that she can get some students in touch with you and that you can make connections. I'm really thrilled about that. I am more likely to, I don't want them to have government jobs. I want them to have private jobs. And I want them to have jobs that's going to last longer than just 5 weeks in the summer, if they are able to do that. So please, employers, if you have the ability to hire 1 or 2 individuals and take them under your wings, we would really appreciate that. Mr. Peachy, I actually spoke to the mayor today about the house down the street that you had told me about with the walls, missing the sidewalls, and we're going to try to get that down as soon as possible, because I did see that it collapsed when I drove by to check on the burnt house across the street from you. Thank you. It's now time for the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion. Madam Chair. Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
It's a motion by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward to send the consent agenda to council.
I'm sorry, yes, to send the consent agenda out. I make a motion to send the consent agenda to council. Thank you for that correction.
Is there support? Supported by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Are there any separations?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
260219 and 260222. And then, sitting on property, Michigan Commercial Treasurer. I just want to make sure I know what this is. 260226.
Okay. Is there any other separations? Are there any?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair. I would like to separate 260211.
Okay. Are there any other separations?
225.
Any others? Any others? Hearing none, the consent agenda will consist of the following resolutions. Let me grab a drink of water because it's going to be a minute. Okay. Flip the page. 260212, Pomps Tire Service, purchase of tires for fiscal year 26. RL. 260213, contract with Printcom, printing and mailing consumer confidence reports. 260214, change order Lake Star Construction Services, lead-based paint abatement. 260215, contract with Beatrice Construction LLC, accessibility modifications for 3 single-family homes. 260216, Samsara Inc., annual 36-month renewal subscription service for fiscal 27. 260217 to Motorola Solutions, purchase portable radios, batteries, and chargers for the Flint Fire Department. 260218 for LaFontaine Chevrolet Plymouth, purchase 2 Chevrolet cargo vans. 260220 Power Initiative Flint Recast Program implementation using carryover funds. 260221, the contract with Blackout Construction LLC for accessibility modifications for 16 single-family homes. 260223, Truck and Trailer Specialties Business, purchase 2 new salting and plowing vehicles. 260224, Ace Saginaw Paving Company, asphalt paving materials. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Al Alamin is not in.
I did miss one. No, that's separated. That's separated. Go ahead, sorry.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Machette? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
You have 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Those resolutions will be sent to council. Our first separation is 260221, 260211. 2026 operating millage, City of Flint Downtown Development Authority District. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to send 260211 to council.
There's a motion on the floor to send 260211 to council. Is there support? I'll support that. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I separated this resolution 260211 simply because I will not be voting to send this resolution to council. And as far as I'm concerned, I spoke on this resolution initially when it was presented to us, and my vote will be no. So if there's any other questions or whatever, we can carry on, we can have the vote, but my vote will be no.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? I'm going to find our email that we got. I want to stress the importance of this. With the renewal of, this is an email that we received today. Without the renewal of the DDA millage, the DDA would not be able to maintain the trash removal, snow plowing, salting of sidewalks, mowing in the downtown corridor, and beautifications. Trash removal from downtown in the alleys, Saginaw Street and events is at the cost of $80,000 a year, and that is needing a daily removal. Snow removal and salting downtown is at a cost of $50,000. Gas for vehicles that are purchased through the city, $5,000. Water that is paid to the city for the beautification and cleaning up, $40,000. Mowing in the downtown area, $5,000. Maintenance, repair, and miscellaneous services, $20,000. I wanted to bring that up for discussion so that that is known to the public. Is there any discussion in the second round? Go ahead.
Anybody?
Is there anyone here from the DDA? No.
That's disappointing. I'll take.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I think that is disappointing. I think that if it was that important, we would have had someone here to answer any questions we have on the documents that we received. Madam Chair, I don't know that this has the votes, but I'm going to make I'm going to have the clerk make a referral to have someone here from the DDA for the next committee meeting to answer questions. I'll yield.
Okay. Could you send that to an email to her, because then she's not here. I know she's listening, but
I'll let the secretaries pass that on.
Please pass that along. Is there any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So, through you to Mr. Pfeiffer, Councilman Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Did you want to keep this here? Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we leave this resolution here in the Finance Committee.
There's a motion on the floor to leave.
Until next Finance Committee meeting.
There's a motion on the floor to leave 260211 in finance. Is there support? Supported by the councilman in the 8th ward. This is the vote to leave 260211 in finance.
Mr. El Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Machette? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
You have 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That will remain in finance, and we'll be taking it up in the 22nd of July. Our next resolution that is separated is 260219, support fiscal year 2026 for 3 bridge applications: Hamilton Avenue over Flint River, Stewart Avenue over C&O Railroad, Beach Street over Thread Creek. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Make a motion we send this to council.
So motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 7th ward to send to council. Is there support? I'll support that. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Is there anyone who can speak to this particular project?
Dan, come on up.
Dan, come on up.
RL.
What?
That's not necessary, thank you.
Hi, Dan. How's it going?
Good.
Good. I'll try to. Oh, wait. It's not the right time. Oh, okay. So should I just start my 5 now? I can say, okay, perfect. I just wanted to know, city officials authorized to execute and submit all documents necessary for the local bridge. So we are applying for a grant from MDOT, correct? Funding for MDOT to do these 3 bridges?
Yes.
And this, if we are able to get the funding, when would this work start?
When's it going to start? That I don't know when they're going to start it. I'd have to ask the engineers.
Okay.
I just know that we are, what we're, from the city, what they're.
Because I do know that it says the Department of Public Works Transportation Division is seeking funding through the State of Michigan Local Bridge Program call for applications for funding year 2029. And so that's why I'm asking. So if we apply for this funding, how soon would we know whether or not we have the funding?
If I may.
Go ahead, absolutely.
Clyde, yeah,
whoever can answer it, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. The thrust of this is that we're applying for the money through their application process, but they'll be controlling the project and doing the project. Essentially what we're here to ask council for is the 0.5% that they're saying that we need to apply to the project in order to qualify to get this money. That's the $136,000. It's a 0.5% of the total. The total amount necessary for these bridges is $2.7 million. That comes out of all of the grant money. That's the grant money itself. But they want us to put the match portion up for the project.
And so
as always.
what's the match portion?
$136,100. That's what we're asking council to approve, is the match money that we need to put up for the city. And really, that's just to show that the city is seriously interested and wants to
So if we put up the 136, does that kind of guarantee this?
No, nothing is guaranteed. It's just a matter of that in this application process, we will be sending in a resolution that says, yes, we understand the 0.5% for application. We've gotten approval of city council. You can move forward with the application process. If we qualify, then of course, and they award us the money, then ultimately you've given us the approval to spend the $136,000.
Right, but we do not have a timeline, so when does this application process close? Because again, I'm looking at 2029, so I just wonder if we have some sort of a timeline.
Yeah, that would be, I can have the engineers here. This was done through the engineers. So I can have the engineers here to answer that question.
Madam Chair, oh wait, I don't know if my colleagues want the floor. I was about to make a substitute motion. Go ahead.
Is there any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Edwards, I'm trying to put this through my head. So, we have to how can we authorize $136,000 for fiscal year 29? Now, is it like, because wouldn't that budget have to be approved from the council in 2029? How does that work?
I think they need a commitment. Again, I'd be happy to bring the engineers, but my understanding is they need a commitment from the city for those dollars as a part of this project. So,
but they would be coming out of fiscal year 29, right?
Yeah, I understand what you're at, the question you're asking. I understand what you're asking. So, and that clarity, the fine clarity of that, yeah, I think that I wasn't part of developing the actual application, so I think that would require the engineer who did the
request for information.
What's your request?
If we're applying now, does it have any of the timeline associated with it? So will we be able to know by what's the application close date for the funding?
Yeah, I would have to assume that nobody's going to know because the state fiscal year budget for 29 hasn't been approved or adopted anything yet to know how much money is going to be available. So I'm assuming that we probably won't know until 2028.
Well, I would say this, having worked in the state briefly, I do know that they often do what's called work projects. That is, money can be approved in one period and carry over to another period, irrespective. It's in that department, so it's not necessarily has any budget implications. The department maintains those dollars for the project because they were previously approved. So they have sometimes years and years of work projects where the money's already been approved, it's allocated to the department, and the department gets to the project when they're ready to get to it.
Are you familiar, is there any kind of deadline that this application needs to be submitted by?
No, I'm not familiar. That doesn't. Yeah, I'm not sure of that. Again, our engineers were responsible for organizing this and putting this together.
Mr. Edwards, I have no problem approving this. I just don't know how we can speak for the council that may be seated here in 2029. So
I understand your issue.
I'm just trying to figure out the logistics on that. If we say yes and we adopt this resolution going forward, and all hell breaks loose in 2029, and they say no, we don't have the money or whatever else, and then what does that do to the city on future projects? I don't know.
I would offer this
I mean, it would be different if
option.
we could put this in a bond now and set it aside and approve it today, and, you know, and have it earmarked or whatever for maybe, is there a way that we can change this resolution so that we approve it today?
Yes.
And saying that the funds are good through 2030 versus just a resolution saying that we approve of it, but not knowing what's going to happen in 2029, we put the council in a bad position of trying to approve something that we already approved that they don't know anything about. So
I would recommend that you approve it for the fiscal period that you have already approved, the budget you have approved, with the caveat that pending, if it needs to go beyond your budget period, pending the adoption of future budgets.
but that still puts it in a gray area going forward that it could be overturned, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how my colleagues feel, but I think I would rather put it that we approve it and the funds are available until expended for this program. I mean, I think that would be versus leaving it up in the air and putting future council members in a bad spot if they campaigned against, whatever the hell it's happened. Who knows what's going to happen in 2029? So you never know what's going to happen in the world. So what's that?
I have a comment.
Okay, I'll yield.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I wanted to find out, how were the 3 bridges selected over other bridges that need worked in the city? Do you know?
I do. I'm aware of, just like we do with the PACER ratings and the roads, there was ratings. The engineers brought to me the various bridges and the difficulties with the bridges and what the lifespan and whether they've reached a certain. So that's what they looked at. They looked at bridges that have reached their useful life and condition that they were, critical condition that they're in. Those 2 factors were the determination to select bridges.
So, where is the bridge on Grand Traverse? What is the status of that bridge?
It is in progress. I'll just say that. I know there's some other details with that, and you may be looking for some other details, but I don't want to I don't want to say something inaccurate. I do know that bridge is being examined, that there is some steps being taken. There is some serious discussions by the engineers concerning repair, modification, or whatever is going to be needed. That is going on right now, has been going on since December.
Okay. I would like to make a referral to get a, Madam Secretary, I would like to make a referral to get a status update on the bridge on Grand Traverse. That's it, Madam Chair.
Any other discussion?
I know it.
Seeing none, I'm going to take my time. Excuse me, and I didn't have my mic on. So, to Mr. Pfeiffer, we've done these before where we accept the grant, and that's when we allocate the funding. So when the grants come to us, that's when the allocation of the required match occurs. And I just wanted to state that on the record, that that's what we've done in the past. So we're not necessarily, we're supporting the use of the funds, this council is, but we're not allocating it for fiscal year 29 until that grant is awarded to us for those repairs. Any discussion in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
No, I don't think me or my colleague in the 8th Ward, we're not saying no. We're saying, and we've been on this council, so we understand how things may change. We're saying we're trying to figure out how to guarantee that a future council will still have to give them the money, as opposed to, that's what we're saying. It's not, we're not against it, we're trying to guarantee it. We're trying to get there.
Point of information, I guess.
Yes.
What I was saying is that would happen when the grant is accepted. So the future council would when they accept the grant, because they cannot accept the grant, but when they accept the grant, they also have to allocate that 10% or that 5, whatever the percentage is, the 130 some thousand.
I don't think she gets it either, but no, we're not saying no. We are not against this happening. We're trying to guarantee that it happens.
Are you done?
That's another reason why I was asking them for timelines, so we could figure out how to guarantee that it happens in the way they need it to happen. I'll yield for now because I don't know the answer.
Okay. Any other discussion in the second round?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Give me 2 seconds. I need to pull
Sure.
it. Nothing's labeled here.
Do you want to go into recess for a couple
No,
of
I
seconds, or
just need
just
to
let your
find
time
this.
run? Okay.
I just need to find the stupid resolution. Okay. All right. Through you to Mr. Moore.
Oh.
Mr. Moore?
Mr. Moore, I don't know if this is something we can do today or we need to put this on special affairs, but do we have the monies available that we can allocate this fiscal year and allow that to sit until 2030?
There's a process that we could do. We'd have to, we could have a council designation of funds for that, and we could do that. That would show up separately in the financial statements, but that's a way that we could do that.
Because I want to allocate, I want to make sure that this money's allocated now through our authority versus pushing it on to future council. So
I'm not sure that it would do that. The council always has control over that.
Yeah, I understand that, but we do this all the time. It's no different than approving the garbage contract until 2030, right? So we're approving those dollars or those contracts during this year or whatever, and allocating the money in the future.
It does mean something to the councils when you do that, and it will show up in the financial statements as being separately designated funds.
Okay.
And so there is a way that you can do that. You just have to be aware that if a future council didn't want to, they wouldn't have to, but most councils tend to follow that. They will do what they understand it's a priority, and they'll usually honor that.
So you're saying you don't want us to do this?
No, I'd say if you want to, go ahead and do it.
Okay, so can you get us the language revision on this for Monday?
Yes.
Okay, then Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to send this to Special Affairs.
Support.
It's been moved and prompted by the councilman in the 8th Ward, it's supported by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward to send resolution 260219 to Special Affairs. This is the vote.
Dr. Lewis is absent. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Machette?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Al-Amin is absent. You have 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to Special Affairs. The next resolution is 260222. Accept fiscal year 26 one-time enhancement grant from the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity Improvements to Haskell Community Center. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to send to council.
Motion is to send to council is made by the councilman in the 8th ward. Is there support? Supported by the councilwoman in the 3rd ward. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, is there someone here that can speak to it?
Is there anyone who can speak to this resolution? Yes, Christian's coming up. Who's, Candace, did you separate it or did?
I did separate it.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure if I wanted to send it to Special Affairs or Council. That's why I didn't give the floor immediately. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, you get the, because you separated it, so you're stuck. I know. Yeah, the 8th ward.
Hi, Christian. Can you tell us what this is and what, give us a general overview of what's happening here?
Okay, so this is a resolution to accept a grant from the State of Michigan Labor and Economic Development in the amount of $500,000. And the background is actually it was appropriated by the state legislature in the state's budget to give the city of Flint this $500,000 for Haskell Community Center. It wasn't specified by the state what it needed to be spent on other than capital improvements, and so the two most urgent issues at Haskell Community Center was to repair the roof and the elevator. We had previously already bid out the work for the roof to be done in phases, and that was over $600,000 or about $600,000 worth of work in 4 phases. And the first phase was approved to be paid from the general fund, but that left about $400,000 of work to be done in complete phases 2 through 4. So that's $400,000 of this $500,000 that is part of the budget of the grant. And then the other $100,000 is budgeted to fix the elevator.
You said fix the elevator?
Yes, yes, fix the elevator.
Was the initial, has any work on the roof been done? Like the first phase?
Yes, the first phase, I don't know if it's complete. I know it was several weeks ago that the work began, so I believe it's done by now.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, that was obviously bid out?
Yes, yes, and this work will have to be bid out again, because when it was bid out to get those initial prices for the phases 1 through 4, it was not, at the time, there wasn't a grant lined up for it, so the result was that we clarified that it did not require prevailing wages. And we only budgeted to complete phase 1 and would address phase 2 through 4 at a later date, and then we got the grant. But because the state of Michigan requires prevailing wages, it will have to be bid out again.
Okay. I guess that is, and then the elevators, the straight 100,000, there's...
So we're actually waiting on a quote for the elevator still, but the initial estimate was, yeah, $100,000.
Okay. And that's a brand new, I mean, I don't think our elevators here cost $100,000, so...
Yeah, I think it's very old and a lot of work had to be done to modernize everything.
Okay.
Like I said, we haven't gotten an official quote yet, but that was the contractor's original first estimate.
And then is that out to bid right now, the elevator, or no?
We haven't put it out to bid because we have to accept the grant still.
Okay. Then I will yield if I have any remaining time.
Is there any other discussion? The first round.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Yes. With this grant, did we apply for this, and was it specifically for Haskell, or did we just apply? How did we end up with this grant?
We did not apply for it. And to be honest, I don't know what the background is. I just know that it was appropriated by the state.
But we did not apply for this?
In a competitive way, no, not to my knowledge. It was handled by the state.
Do we know who or why we were given this particular grant? From who we were given this grant?
I do not know. What I know is that Leo reached out to the city and let us know that we had a $500,000 grant for this purpose.
So Leo just called us and said, hey, we have $500,000 specifically for Haskell?
Yes, it's in their budget.
But we didn't request to put it in their budget.
I believe somebody did, but it was not me.
Is there anyone who can answer who requested to put specifically Haskell in the budget?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't think anyone
That's cool,
here
because there's a whole
does.
bunch of people back there. Is there anyone back there who can answer that?
Is there anyone who can answer that question?
What did he say?
I couldn't hear him.
It doesn't look like anybody knows.
What did he say?
There
There was someone who gave an answer. I would like to hear the answer I
thought
was
it
given.
was. I thought it was Paul, but he might have been talking about something else.
No,
too.
he wasn't. He answered the question,
Okay.
so I would like the answer to the question.
Paul, could you come up and give us the answer that you said back there?
So is Clyde not allowing him to, so we can't have the answer?
I hear he's coming. He's coming.
How much time do I have left?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Well, you answered it when you were back there. So
No, I didn't.
That wasn't you. Someone literally yelled out the answer to the question.
Wasn't me.
So nobody has the answer. Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to leave Resolution 260222 here in this committee.
Motion on the floor to leave Resolution 260222 in finance. Is there support? Supported by the councilwoman in the 5th ward. This is the vote to leave 260222 in finance.
Ms. Johnson? Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
That's straight out the Three Stooges.
Yes.
Ms. Machette?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
I guess, yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
You have 7 yes, 0 no.
We have 7 yes and 0 no. That will be left in finance. Our next separation is 260225, contract with Lighthouse Insurance Group, City of Flint, property and liability coverage. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we send 260225 to council.
There's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 7th ward to send 260225 to council. Is there support? I'll support that. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Dennis separated me. Is there any discussion? Seeing that
You gonna start, Dennis?
discussion on Lighthouse. Go ahead.
Through you to Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore?
Mr. Moore, Mr. Moore, Mr. Moore, how are you today, sir?
Very good.
Good. Who are we accompanied by?
I'll let him introduce himself. He's our representative from Lighthouse.
Okay, perfect.
Good evening.
Perfect.
Courtney Amy with the Lighthouse Group.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Moore, every year, I'm sorry, what was your name?
Court, C-O-R-T.
Court.
Yep.
Mr. Court?
Yep.
Okay. Every year we approve 2-point-something million dollars, 2.7, 2.6, 2.5. But in every year, it seems like we have some kind of a tragedy, whether it was someone driving a bulldozer into a building, we had a fire, something else, and none of that stuff is covered. And I'm trying, and then the latest thing was that the building that the bulldozer drove through wasn't covered, or wasn't even come close to getting the correct number of dollars to replace like for like. So I'm trying to figure out what is the coverage that we actually have, because every time it seems we have a tragedy, you come before us and say, we were only covered for $10,000 for $500,000 loss, or we are only covered for X amount of dollars, or this wasn't covered at all. And not to get into specifics, I'm only speaking in generalities, because every single year we give 2-point-something million dollars to Lighthouse, and every time we have an instance where we need to potentially put a claim in, we never have coverage for that particular incident. So I'm trying to figure out what we have coverage for and why we keep running into a lack of coverage, when it seems to me like that 2-point-something would be better off if we were self-insured and do a self-insurance bond or whatever the hell we need to do, because the 2.7 million that we're about to allocate today, in 6 months when something happens, we're going to come up and say, well, we don't have coverage for that. So I'm trying to figure out how we get proper coverage. Is the proper coverage $3 million, or we need to find somebody else that's going to give us the coverage that we need?
That's a big question.
It is, because every year we run into an issue.
There are a number of things that we've been doing to address that. First, one of the things we're trying to do is make the city of Flint more attractive to insurers. One of the things that we've been doing, which is a result of this, is we've put all our insurance with one due date so that we're more attractive to the companies to bid for our business.
Okay.
Historically, the city of Flint has had a tough time in getting insurance.
So you're saying that the coverage that we're provided, that they don't cover everything on purpose?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But, I'm just saying it's a very tough market for municipalities. And I'm saying that the city of Flint has had a tough time historically. I think we're doing a lot.
Mr. Moore, I'm not saying that 2.7 is high or 2.7 is low. I'm saying that it's never adequate coverage. Like we have way too much out of pocket. Like I think the McKinley Center was a fire that cost us $250,000 out of pocket, and we only got $50,000 in reimbursement. So it's always, and then the water building that got ran into a dumpster or ran into by a bulldozer, we got like pennies on the dollar for what we had to come out of pocket. And I'm not criticizing the dollar value that we're paying. I'm criticizing how come we don't have proper coverage so that we're not spending the 2.7 and 90% out of pocket for any claims. Does that make sense, Mr. Court?
No, it's a very fair question. So like Philip said, municipalities are very tough in the insurance marketplace right now. The the city of Flint has been tough on our insurers. So we're the agent. We bid it out to 21 different carriers this cycle, this go around, and there's several different carriers involved, and we pick the best one as far as cost and coverage. And then I think what your frustration is on deductibles. So in order to keep,
so our timers aren't working up here. So I'm going to ask for somebody to speak in this again. Go ahead. Continue.
Go ahead and continue.
Go ahead. Thank you. So in order to keep the cost of the insurance reasonable or within the Finance Council's budget, so the policies all have several different layers of deductibles. So I'd have to look into the specific dollars that you're referencing. I do know the situation you're talking about with the the dump truck or the bulldozer that ran into the building. There was a specific deductible on the property, which after that deductible, I think it was $100,000. They paid after that deductible. So there's deductibles on all of the policies in order to make them as competitive as possible. Some of the deductibles are very high, and I think that's what you're referencing. But we comb, so our agency has a large practice of municipalities, so we have access to every municipal underwriter really in the United States. And we go to all of them every year on your behalf, and then try to pick the ones that are the most competitive, have the best coverage, and the lowest possible deductibles.
Okay. Do you have any other questions on that, Mr. Jarrett? Go ahead. What's your request? Wait a minute, Mr. Moore.
Mr. Jarrett, is it possible that to find out how competitive we are compared to other municipalities?
When you say that the city of Flint, how unique are we compared to other municipalities?
Good question.
I mean, not terribly unique. Some underwriters are people, so the specific coverages we're talking about today, as far as property, vehicles, things like that, underwriters look at the news, and we don't always get the best news coverage for the city of Flint, unfortunately, nationally. We tell a different story because we're here, and we do our best to market it, and that's why we did get 21 responses back from the carriers, and the carriers you see in the packet here are the ones that came up with the best coverage in terms and premiums.
So how actively, Mr. Moore, does someone here at the city look at deductibles for certain line items? I mean, are those sort of scrutinized regularly, or do we negotiate those, or what?
We work very closely with Lighthouse. They're our primary agent that we deal with. One thing that we are doing right now, which I think is important, is that we're in the process of trying to hire a risk manager. The city used to have a risk department, and the idea of that is that we need to do a better job of managing our assets and resources and making sure that what we do provides the least risk that we can, so that what we do have is better managed, that our loss runs are going to be better in the future. And our hope is that in the future that the loss manager or the risk manager will pay for themselves just by reducing the loss that the city has for different things. And that includes everything from just making sure that we adhere to all the different safety policies, of making sure that everyone has good driver's license, to making sure that the buildings are properly secured.
And that's a role that we're actively recruiting for?
We're actively recruiting for that right now.
And that's a role that you say we previously had here?
We once upon a time had a whole department that took care of that. And but when the city had the emergency manager, that department was lost.
So how long have we been recruiting, approximately?
Probably a month, I'm guessing, maybe 2 months.
So this is a new
Very recent, yes.
opportunity for
Yes.
someone. Okay. I guess at this point I yield.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Yes, Madam
Go ahead.
Chair. My question, Madam Chair, through you to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, has the city explored alternative insurance providers?
Yes, we have talked to the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority. It's a group of cities that work together to get insurance.
Mm-hmm.
We were close, but they ended up declining to supply a bid. We've been working with them. We think that maybe in the future that they will. Part of it, we just have to market and sell the city. They need to understand, they need to get comfortable with our loss runs. I think our loss runs aren't that bad for a city our size, but it does take, you do have to educate the insurance carriers about the history and where we are. And I think in the future we'll be able to do that, but that's not going to happen overnight. I think having a risk manager in place will help with that.
Mm-hmm. So what was, did we have, and I'm sure we did have increases as far as our premium from last year to this upcoming year, right?
Yeah.
They're actually down this year.
Okay.
So in 2024, and Philip mentioned it off the top, to make the city as a insurance purchaser more attractive, we commonized the effective dates to July 1st. So the policies that you're seeing here that are renewing, back in 2024, there was different effective dates. So what we did through the work with the finance department is we renewed those on longer dates, so they would all expire on July 1st, 2026 to renew July 1st, 2026 through 2027.
Okay.
So as part of that work, that is going to make the city more attractive. So if you look at the back page of the insurance proposal, you'll see what you guys actually paid from 2024 to July 2026. Then we annualize that to get a comparison, and the renewal is down, I think, about $40,000 year over year.
Okay. All right. I yield the floor.
Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mr. Court, how do we, I guess first and foremost, what is our, of the combined 2.7 or whatever the dollar value is, what is the biggest opportunity to potentially lower that number? Like is automobile insurance $1 million of that? Is there not? Because we're upgrading our fleet across the board, so like what is the biggest opportunity to potentially lower the biggest chunk of that dollar, if that makes sense?
That's an excellent question, and this is not a City of Flint thing. This is an insurance industry thing, even outside of municipals. So auto liability is the worst possible coverage.
I'm sorry, say that again?
The auto liability,
Okay.
which is the biggest bucket of premium here, it's over 1.3 million. Auto liability in the insurance industry, again, not just municipalities, just the whole market, is a disaster. So we have a term in insurance called nuclear verdicts, and we see the billboards with attorneys, truck accidents, auto accidents.
Yeah.
That's what they're after. They're after auto liability. All of our insurers insure all of our clients up to a certain level, and then they buy reinsurance over on top of that. Basically, it's like an umbrella that insurance companies buy. And the reinsurance market on auto liability has been rocked by these nuclear verdicts. So that's the biggest bucket of premium.
That's probably why I pay $1,000 a month for auto insurance, huh?
We could talk about my personal auto insurance.
That's what I'm saying.
I got two
$1,000 a month
teenagers
for
on
my
there.
auto insurance.
But that is the biggest bucket, so that would represent, to answer your question, the biggest opportunity. We marketed the auto liability out to as many carriers as would talk to us, and NICO is the one that came forward. They're the only ones that offered the coverage. But to your point, all of the improvements that you make as far as fleet, as far as, anything you do to make the vehicles safer, we market that to the carriers to try to secure better terms and lower premiums.
So we just also did GPS tracking. Do we get any kind of a discount for GPS tracking?
It'll go in the narrative. Yeah.
I just feel like insurance is a racket to me. No offense to your industry, but it's a freaking racket, and it seems every year the terms of what we have to pay get worse and worse.
Yeah, and that's also on a macro environment. So since COVID in 2020, our insurance companies have been bleeding dollars. And what happens to all of us, me included, the rates go up. This is the first year where the property and casualty market, which is all I do, specifically this, has actually started to soften a bit, and we've actually seen premiums come down slightly.
Thank you.
In the second round. Any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round? This is the vote to send resolution 60225 to council.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Machette?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
You have 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to council. Our next resolution is 260226. Approve the sale of city-owned property, Michigan Department of Transportation, road reconstruction and bridge replacement project. I'll entertain a motion. Yeah.
Motion to send to council.
There's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 7th ward, supported by the councilman in the 8th ward, to send 260226 to council. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Is there anyone who can speak to this resolution? Do we know why we're having the static? Mr. Edwards, can you just explain why we are, if I'm understanding this correctly, unloading this for $11,200?
Well, I mean, I can explain the fact that many have seen the I-475 project that has taken place. So this is all a part of MDOT's ability to complete that project. And they're talking about, if you look in the resolution, it talks about from the Flint River to Carpenter Road, that is the stretch in which they're doing some...
Sorry, can you speak over the static? I'm sorry.
Okay. From the Flint River, where the Flint River crosses at I-475, all the way up to Carpenter Road is the part that they're discussing in terms of looking at the bridges along that area. And so what they're asking is, where they're planning to do some work, they need the property, and they put I believe in your packet there is some kind of diagram. They need the property without infringing on our easement rights. They need the property to be able to take care of those upgrades.
So we'll still have the easements, but they'll have the property. What happens when they come back and ask for the easements? Like what happens?
No, they won't ever get the easements. The easements allow us to work with our utilities. They won't.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. This is just about the fact that city owns these pieces of property. They're practically useless pieces of property along the expressway area, and they just need to be able to go in there and do what they need to do. And some of the upgrades probably are going to be placed on the property. But yeah, no, the easements will stay intact.
We unload a lot of property. Do we do anything with our property ever? Do we ever like lease? And I know this has nothing to do with what I'm asking, but do we ever lease our own property? Do we ever sell and get direct money for property? It just seems like we are not good stewards of like property. It just seems weird that we're always not on like the best end of deals when it comes to property around here.
When to your point, there are occasions when we lease property.
Mhm.
We leased property when they were refining the Hamilton Dam and all of
Mhm.
that stuff. Well, they needed a place to stage their equipment at that time. So it was a big parking lot area in that downtown area, a big lot that we owned that they leased from us just so that they could have a place to keep their vehicles, their construction equipment, and so there are circumstances where we do lease.
Well, thank you, because my only question was, what were we doing with this good faith offer of $11,200 and what happens with the easements? But all right, thank you, I yield.
In the first round. Go ahead.
Mr. Edwards, what happens to the property after the project is done? Do they forever maintain that property?
Yeah, it becomes part of MDOT's.
Do they own the properties next to them?
They own whatever property is described in.
Time.
Yeah.
People in the back, please be quiet. We are having trouble hearing. We have static overhead. I don't know if you're hearing it, but we're hearing it, and so we're having trouble understanding. Thank you. Go ahead. RL.
Madam Clerk.
Secretary.
Madam Secretary, can you just kill the entire system, turn it off? Turn it off and we'll speak without it.
It won't go on YouTube if we turn it.
Has everyone who wanted the opportunity to sign in had a chance to go ahead and sign in? If so, we will go ahead with the time is now 7:03 p.m. on Wednesday, June 17th. I hereby call this legislative committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Al-Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Machette?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Oh, did he leave?
Mr. Jarrett's not in. We have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. It's now time for the reading of the Disorderly Persons City Code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 31-10, disorderly conduct, assault and battery in disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting this in the meeting, the individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. Are there any requests for agenda changes and or additions? Seeing as how there are no requests for agenda changes and or additions, it is now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the City Council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
First public speaker, R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, I'm R.L. Mitchell. The stuff that Mr. Moore was talking about, the DDA, and the situation about 4 years, 2030, and he's just like Chase Bank, when they made me take all my bonds out of Michigan National Bank, and when I worked at General Motors Truck Assembly on Van Slyke Road, they always filibustering around, and then he's still getting to the point. He getting all these people. They know they driving with their driver's license ain't no good. He talking about he got his whole the meeting the people downstairs he training to mess with their driving license. They got to come down there and pay their water bill when they come down with the car. They take them pictures up and then threatening them to pay that ticket or you're going to jail. And Mr. Moore ain't got no better business to do this, messing with us dark people. Yeah, it's racial. It's racial stuff in Flint. Just like that woman, the people's MDA, if whatever, stopped somebody from going to the black rodeo. A man was locked in the bathroom on me, or what? And then he locked the bath. I said, you pale face, and he hollered like somebody bust him in the mouth. He said, oh no, I'm not going. And 2 days later, they come put me in the back room talking about, hey sir, you banned it off this premises for December the 7th. You can catch the bus outside of Flint, but don't put they might as well say, black foot on DDA property. They don't want no darkies in the middle of Flint and all that stuff. And another thing, Mr. Moore talking that stuff and nobody up here checking him, but I called him Tarzan. There you go, and all that, and a Christian. He the one that taking all, he know what to do with the money, and then Ed Taylor and that other, I can't call his name straight. And then Mr. Chief Wiggins doing the same thing. I went up, Sutite, Miss Burns, Madam Burns, whatever that means. I went up to the center today, and then they got them supersonic jets flying around McDonald's, and they go in the cloud, and then I found out they done cased all them little dudes shooting up the house, 218 shots. They say they over there in that neighborhood right in front of Mays Center. Then the bus driver didn't want to tell me. I said, don't tell me no more. They was all over there with the motorcycles, and people think every time anybody get them old dudes, somebody come up here and throw a monkey with everybody in Mays Center. It looked like Jim Jones purple Kool-Aid before he killed all them darkies with that sap purple Kool-Aid. And that's like I say, stay tuned, New York. New York, we're going to get bushwhacked like President Bush bushwhacked Baghdad.
Thank you. Next
Trump,
public
hey,
speaker,
thank you.
Madam Secretary.
Next public speaker is Tracy Wilson. Tracy Wilson.
Believe she's gone.
Next public speaker is Mona Jonas.
Government ops.
Next public speaker is David Peachy. He's gone.
I believe he's gone.
Next public speaker is Tanya Jones.
I believe she's gone.
Next public speaker is Mari Cope.
I believe she's gone.
No more public speakers.
Seeing as how that was the final public speaker, it is now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to speak during council response? Seeing as how there's no one who would like to speak during council response, it is now time for the consent agenda. What is the pleasure of the body? Councilwoman Priestley.
Full separation.
Total separation. Fine. We'll move on to the first ordinance, 260193, which is the amendment of Flint City Code of Ordinance Chapter 2, Administration, Ethics and Accountability Board, bylaws, basically. What is the pleasure of the body? Oh, for discussion, no problem. There's a motion to send to council. Is there support? That motion dies. Is there another motion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Priestley.
Motion to postpone indefinitely.
There's a motion to postpone indefinitely. Is there support? Supported by the councilwoman in the 5th Ward. Roll call, Madam Secretary. Exactly.
Mr. El Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
I'm going to abstain because I would like to discuss this, so I'm gonna vote no. I'm vote no.
Voting no or abstain? No. And Mr. Jarrett is not in?
Madam Clerk, Secretary.
Yes, Ms. Burns.
I want to change my vote.
Okay.
I want to vote no. I want to discuss this too.
Okay, that has been noted. So the vote is 4 yes, 2 no.
4 yes, 2 no, so that fails as well. Moving on to Resolution 260228. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair, motion to send to council.
Oh, there's a motion to send to council. Is there support? I'll support it so that we can begin discussion on it.
That's.
Is there anyone in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Priestley.
And I really didn't get much chance to review this since this was put back out. But when I was going through it, I was finding that some of the hours I felt were too late for a child of 11. I'm trying to get to that page. So I don't think that a child 12 years or under should be out at 10 o'clock at night. It does get dark. It's only light at 10 o'clock for a month or so. Otherwise, it's getting dark. When I was a child, my family's rules were when the street lights come on, you better get your butt home. You know, that was our rules. And so I think that if we're going to put, and this would be a year-round thing, that 10 o'clock is way too late for a child 12 years and under. Do we know who brought forward
I
this?
did. I did for the purpose of us being able to discuss. And I think that, and Councilman Pfeiffer's not in his seat, but I think one of the things that he said that I think is important is he didn't understand why we were distinguishing between the school year and the summer. And so if that's also something that we would like to take a look at and see if we do need to distinguish between the two, if it just needs to be one all year round. Also know in Michigan, our seasons are different. So sometimes it's light, sometimes it's dark. So there's a lot for us to consider. Are you done? I'm sorry.
I'm done.
Okay. Is there anybody else in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I think that there should be a universal and not based on school year. Because does that mean school, like what defines school year? And the conversation I had with council president is what defines school year? What school system are we talking about? If somebody comes over from Davison or somebody else, or there's someone that has a balanced schedule where, like, what defines, I think that just adds a level of complexity where it should just be a straight curfew, whether or not that's the summer curfew or the designated school curfew. I mean, what if they're in summer school and then they can use that as an outlet? You know, I don't know. I'm just trying to, I think that it's a good ordinance. I think it's needed. I just think that school year designation adds confusion. So I would like to just amend it and delete that, but I don't know what the language of that needs to be or what the hours is. So, I mean, that's my comment. I don't know if I'll listen to my colleagues.
Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion? Anyone else in the first round of discussion? Huh? So this is the curfew that we already have on the record, and so it's just us trying to figure out how we reconfigure it. So this is already the law here. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. So looking at the curfew, I mean the hours, what about children who work? And some may have jobs. And
what's your request?
Are you aware it has that designation that if they're exempt, if they can show proof that they were coming or going from work?
okay. So we're just changing the times on this. Everything else is the same.
So Councilman Pfeiffer has also suggested for us to consider the school year versus all year round, and maybe just do one all year round as opposed to school year and all year round. But he's just throwing it out there. And then there is also the special public events curfew that we should take a look at. And then some of your other questions might be answered where it says exceptions to curfew hours for special public events curfew. And keep in mind when we say curfew, this is it also just means, you know, this time, but after this time, you just need a parent present. You just can't be outside. You just need your parent present with you at that point.
Yeah, I started reading it. So those are some of the changes that he would like to make.
Those are his suggestions, and then Councilwoman Priestley had a couple of suggestions as well. And I know
she wants to limit
go ahead.
She wants to have men much earlier. Yeah,
because if you're 12, why would you need to be out at 10 o'clock, 12 or under? Why would you need to be out at 10 o'clock without a parent?
Point of information.
What is your point?
When my 11-year-old nephew stayed at my house and he would take off at 11 o'clock at night, not now. He wasn't up to good.
Parenting has changed. That it has. Okay. I yield the floor. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion?
Is there anything for parent response? Collecting the children.
No, it's fine. So I will go ahead and take some time in the. Did you want time in the first round of discussion for this curfew before we move on? No. Okay.
Parent section here.
So I'm going to take my time. I'm sorry. I do want to just say, at the end of the day, the whole goal in this is to, one, make sure that our youth are safe and that they are in safe, healthy environments. And then also after a particular time at night, I do not believe there is a reason for anyone 12 or under to be without a parent outside at 10 p.m. There just isn't a good reason for that. And then I think even when we take a look at 14 years old, I don't understand, I don't think there's a good reason for a 14-year-old to be out at 11 o'clock at night without a parent. Now, I know as we get towards some of the older youth that maybe there's just a little bit more that we can think about, because here it even has a daytime curfew for minors, and it's no minor under the age of 17 years old shall loiter, idle, congregate, or be in any public street, highway, alley, park, or public place between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. And ideally, that is, obviously you should be in school if it's around the school year. But if we're saying that 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and this does say during the school year, except where the minor is accompanied by a parent or guardian or some adult over the age of 21, delegated by the parent or guardian to accompany the minor or child, or where the minor is upon an errand or other legitimate business directed by his or her parent or guardian. School year is defined by the minor's assigned school. So the past council did cover that. And then, of course, there's the curfew failure of parent or guardian to collect minor. Any guardian or parent of a minor child who is notified that his or her minor child has been taken into custody for violation of the Flint City Code, and who thereafter fails or refuses to collect the minor child from authorities or make provisions thereof within a period of 3 hours after notification, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Upon conviction of a violation of this section, a parent shall be subject to costs in the amount of the actual cost to the police department in arresting and detaining the minor child. I don't know that I want a child arrested, but we say detained, but yeah. And so I just wanted us to take a look at this, pull this, and have some conversations, maybe go over what we think, and maybe hear from some more residents about what would be acceptable curfew times. But I am in agreement that some of these times are too late for youth of a certain age to be out without a parent. Moving on to the second round of discussion. Is there anyone who would like the floor in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Pfeiffer.
So I guess I'm confused. Is this exactly the way that the one is adopted? This is word for word?
That's our ordinance right now. That is our current ordinance.
Because typically, if there's an amendment, that amendment is brought before us. So should this be a discussion item? Why is this even? It should be a discussion item, right? Because if we don't have language that we're ready to adopt tonight, right?
We do not, but
because I don't think that we've ever had an ordinance come before us
word
for word with no amendments.
But I think the problem with having amendments, though, it would have been as though I was trying to amend without talking to you all, if that makes sense. And so it was, if we had an opportunity, if anyone had any ideas and wanted to amend from the floor tonight, then we could do that. And if not, it just stays on here until the next meeting so that we can see if there's a way we would like to amend it. Does that make sense?
Sure. I just, I don't know that we've ever done it that way, so.
I'm sorry, so his time I will.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'd like to amend it to delete the school year on every one of them and change the times, use the school year times as a year-round, but delete the school year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, delete the delineation between the two.
Yeah, but use the school year time. Because I don't know that under 14 need to be out until 11. So 10 o'clock would be a suffice for me for year round.
10, but yeah.
But that would be mine. I don't know if we're doing that now, or are you just taking it and we're gonna.
We can do it now. We can do it however everyone
know.
decides. Councilwoman Priestley, can you pause this time, please? Councilwoman Priestley.
I would like to suggest that we actually form a committee to discuss it, and then they can bring recommendations back, so that there's two people involved in that, rather than just bringing it forward and going back and forth.
What's that?
That's my
suggestion. We can do it right now with everybody. We can just do it right now.
No, it's a suggestion.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but the next time this committee meets or anything else is the end of July, and we're at the end of summer, and this has got to be posted for a
That's
public
right.
hearing and everything else. Yeah, so at this point, there's no,
So at this point, we just need to do this, and then, because it won't be effective until August,
It won't be effective until, we have to hold a public hearing,
which we will do in July.
July 22nd,
Mhm.
and then it becomes effective.
Well, it becomes effective when we say, so it could be immediate or it could be 30 days.
yeah, we can do enact immediately.
Yeah, we can do an immediate effect. Attorney Cups, that's correct, right? Yes, see, yeah, it's.
I thought it took 30 days.
No, we just always just give things 30 days.
I mean, I think there should be a thing in here for curfew for some adults too, but I guess that's another conversation. That's another conversation.
Tanya's trying to give you a curfew.
I mean, Tanya give me dirty looks. She needs to be under curfew for sure.
I might need one for real though.
So I'll make that amendment to delete the school year delineation from all age groups, but change the times on the on the main headline to use the school year times, which I believe is just an hour difference, right?
Yeah.
So to reduce the main one for each age group by 1 hour and delete the school year. That's my amendment, so I move. I don't know.
So he basically, where it says curfew for minors 12 and under, or then it goes to school year curfew minors 12 and under, he wants to take away all of them saying school years and just say curfews for minors 12 and under, curfews for 14 and under, and then but just use the time that we have for school year. So instead, it would just say curfew
I can
minors
get more
12 and
specific.
under, and then it would say 9 p.m. to 6 a.m.
So so I'd like to remove 31-5.1.
Mhm.
I'd like to amend 31-5 to 9 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay.
I'd like to remove 31-6.1, and I'd like to amend 31-6 to 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I'd like to remove 31-7.1 and amend 31-7 to 11 p.m. 11 p.m.
11 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Right.
I definitely want them in
I
sooner.
really would like to see this in writing. Will that be voted on?
Yeah, we're still working on amendments, so this is just the first amendment. So if anybody has anything else. Because then with the daytime curfew, I think that wording is fine. Does everyone else think that the daytime curfew for minors under 17 is fine? Just says no minor under the age of 17 years shall loiter, idle, congregate, or be in or on any public street, highway, alley, park, or public place between 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. during the school year, except where the minor is accompanied by a parent or guardian or some adult over the age of 21 delegated by the parent or guardian to accompany the minor child, or where the minor is upon an errand or other legitimate business directed by his or her parent or guardian. School year is defined by the minor's assigned school. And that's the daytime curfew during the school year.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
So leaving it at 9 a.m. and I would think that school starts around 8 a.m. Am I not correct? So
I don't know what time school starts.
Why not change that to 8?
Councilwoman Johnson, what time does school start?
Which school? High school? 7. 7 o'clock. But they're getting picked up. I pick up kids as early as 5:30 in the morning.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
My first pickup is at 5:30.
Teenagers are still sleeping. You can't get them off at that time of day.
Yeah, that's my first pickup time, 5:30 in the morning. And some
I guess
kids I pick
is-
up at 5:15.
I mean, is that daytime curfew, are people really apprehended or for that? Is that a big concern?
I don't know that it is.
I don't know that it is.
Maybe we should check with our police officers in the back and make them wave their hands.
Well, why don't we invite our school liaison, Sergeant Terrence Walker?
Do you want to just put this on special affairs?
And then I think he will be able to give us some good input.
I don't care. I just want, like, if we're gonna move it, I just don't want to delay it. So I don't.
Okay, yeah. Attorney Cubs. Just quick question, because we do already have some slight amendments, but we're not done amending. We want to do it as one big amendment. And so are we able to put this in special affairs and work on it there if we have someone come in? How should we do this?
Yeah, so I think you've got a couple things going on.
Okay.
Under the, you have 300 of the charter, which affects enactment of ordinances and emergency ordinances. Then you also have Rule 10 of the council rules. And Rule 10.3 does say if the ordinance is amended to the extent that there has been inadequate notice to the public of the content of the ordinance, it shall not be enacted until the procedures of 3301 and following are complied with. So you have that. I would also note that if you're considering going the emergency ordinance route under the charter, it does require a 2/3 vote of the members-elect to enact the ordinance with immediate effect. So you would have to have 6 votes at any meeting where you do that. And then you also have to state 3307C does say shall contain language stating that an emergency exists and describing it in clear and specific terms. So there is some work to be done on the ordinance itself, which includes adding that language about the emergency.
So is it possible to have you have that language ready for Monday? And we can still move it to special affairs, just add the language in with the amendments on Monday?
I think you potentially could. I would also note it's my understanding that the city attorney hasn't seen any language on this at all, because of course we're working on it.
We're working on it together.
Today.
Yes.
So it would be tough for Monday.
So even if we're not, but even if on Monday we're not taking the emergency route, right? Even if we're just taking the regular route, we can still just amend Monday. She'll be sitting right there.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. I mean, I guess, does amending this by 1 hour, is it even needed? Like, is our police officers, even the school liaison isn't going to know, but if we had the chief of police that ever showed up, is he saying that that extra hour would alleviate this amount of crime, or are they even apprehending anybody under curfew? Are they apprehending anybody under curfew?
Point of information.
What's your point?
Do you know there are children that they are arresting? About 3 weeks ago, I do know they arrested 5 teens, between the ages of 12 and 15, riding in a vehicle with alcohol, marijuana vapes, and a gun. And one of them had a prior felony with firearm.
But I get
and the parents didn't come get them.
I get that, but the curfew violation would be the least of their problems, right?
That part.
So,
is that what they're arresting them for?
Because what amendments are we going to truly make to this? Is that extra 1 hour that big of a deal? Like, are they saying that people dissipate at midnight, or are they saying that they need it at 11 because I just trying to figure out before we get into the weeds on this.
Yeah.
Is it really needed? Because my amendment is only basically taking an hour away.
Yeah.
So is that extra hour that big of a deal that we have to go through all of this in public hearings? Does it matter? Does the police department feel like they are going to accomplish a lot in that hour?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I think that, I know they've been asking for help. And I think that if we make, everybody needs to be in the house at 9 because they don't know how to act out there anyways. And yours is more lenient than what I see with children and young people out there. Because we got a problem, we need to get control of it. You know, and we can always, or change it back, but right now we have a problem. These kids are out of control.
And this provision, or this thing actually says that parents are held liable, and I'd like to know.
What is that?
Are we holding them liable? And if we're not holding them liable per the ordinance, then whatever we put on the ordinance is garbage anyways, because if it's not enforced.
I think that, because sometimes when we talk about things or we shine light on things, what ends up happening is that the enforcement does begin to happen. Because that's what happened with the blight ordinance, because from May to September, we weren't following our own blight ordinance. But once we shed light on the fact that this is an ordinance and we should be following it, blight started following that ordinance. And so I think this would be the same thing. We are giving them an opportunity to go ahead and enforce curfews, because I don't know that, and I'm not out there with them to say whether or not they've been enforced this whole time.
I think it's an extra that they can add on if they're pulling them over, for speeding, or you looking like you 6 driving a vehicle, so you can't reach the pedal. So I think it adds, it compounds onto it.
Right.
I do know that they won't help, and I do believe, like you said, when we shed light on things, things do get fixed. The 5-foot hole in my neighborhood got fixed today because Michael Clack shed light on it. But I think we should do it up here.
For sure.
Because I think we have a good, even with LaShawn, Councilmember Johnson, actually is in the schools, and knowing like the kids and the behavior. I am for it. Change it to 9. Put them in the house with their parents, because a lot of these kids are a menace to society, and they just don't. And it's unfortunate for the good kids, but you have so many kids who are out here that are.
I still don't think anybody, regardless of your behavior, I think to say that a 12-year-old should be out at 10 o'clock is insane.
12 and under.
12 and under, right? So I'm just 7 outside doing whatever.
But we turned out okay.
Right.
I mean, we survived.
And so I do think that, regardless of what we come up with, the fact that some of these times, I agree, Councilwoman Burns, they're too lenient for some of these ages. It's too lenient.
Does anybody know what curfews they implemented in Washington, D.C.?
I think they did.
Because the mayor they implemented it and they shut everything down.
8 o'clock.
Was it 8 o'clock?
They put them kids in.
Google is my friend.
You have a computer, Google
They
that.
have a comprehensive public safety plan where they enacted. Yes,
they
have a great.
They stopped everything.
85% drop, and they have a comprehensive public safety plan that they have enacted maybe 5 years ago. Detroit has adopted it, Portland, Oregon, and it reduced crime and along with violent interrupters. And we need, which I've been saying since 2020, and sat down with Chief Green about this. He has not enacted it. I mean, they know the problems. This is really too lenient.
It is.
It's too lenient, and we have to do something. But then also, when they're pulling these kids off the street, they don't have a place to house them. We have a problem. Where do we house them? And do we make to send them to another county to house them? And then what is the what is the penalty for the parents?
So if there's a 12-year-old out on the street at midnight, we're taking them in custody. I'm assuming by ordinance we should be. But what's happening? We're not taking them to the county, right?
A lot of times it's full, and what the kids do is sit there. Like those 5 teenagers, my first call was a little after 9 o'clock. The last call before I went to bed was like 2:20 a.m., and the parents had not shown up yet. Yep, and that was right. And that's normal. It's not unusual. The parents don't come get them. These kids are running these houses. And it's not, the good kids are parents know,
I don't think an ordinance is going to fix parenting, but it should.
Well, I think
it should have.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
But this.
There was a new curfew law enacted in May for DC. Is this the law that we're talking about?
I'm talking about the prior one.
Okay, all right. I found the new one. I'm still looking.
What's the new
one is 11 to 6. 11 p.m. to 6 for juveniles under 17. But there are some, I just saw that. There are some rules where the police chief can say in certain areas you can't be out, and can set his own curfew times.
For sure, but what we don't want to run into here is
Right.
anything that feels like a disproportionate impact or something that feels a little bit discriminatory. I think that
I agree.
everybody here should have the same time, and that is that.
9 p.m.
So,
They can do it 8 p.m. I ain't thinking about it.
I looked at So,
I think it's important too that we point out that we are not trying to be unfair or trying to restrict people from having positive, fun experiences during the summer. Hence why we're working with Mari and figuring out third spaces and safe spaces for them. I do think that, unfortunately, we're running up against an epidemic of youth not knowing how to make wise choices. They don't know, they're not good at emotional regulation. They're often put in adult situations and they still have the brains of children. And so they are making choices that are not good for them. And so this is a way for us to both help law enforcement and their parents figure out what is the best right track for them. And I do agree that the times have to change because they're too late.
In reading the background on this, the reason why they had specified locations is because they would be trying to get flash mobs. And they were trying to prevent the flash mobs from coming.
They didn't want the kids dancing?
I would be okay with deleting the 12, the 14, the 17, and just have one and say 10 p.m.
That's what Detroit has. I'm
I
looking
don't
it
know
up.
why.
I like 9
To me,
p.m.
I don't know what the big difference between 12 and 14 is. They shouldn't be out at anyway.
I think 12 and 14 anybody 14 and under should be in at 9 p.m.
I do too.
And then, 17
Based on my
and under.
experience with
Yeah.
my nephews.
And why is it
Yeah.
17 years and under? Shouldn't it be 18? Shouldn't it be under 18?
That's a good point.
I think if you talk about 17, that would be 17 and under, so that would be under 18.
18 and under. I mean, under 18.
So are we saying
Yeah,
that
I mean, that makes sense too. It does.
14 and under 9 p.m. and 15 to 17, 10 p.m.?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
And I think we need the chief here, and we got a couple of officers. Can we have one of them come up?
If they want
I know they looking like, really don't.
If one of you don't mind, we just need a little bit of help of sorting out this curfew of what makes sense, if one of you don't mind.
Faces seen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I was just
All right.
saying that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So, and then one of the things, how many kids are out, how many kids have we had shot? I mean, we need to have some statistics.
Yeah.
How many kids have been picked up, and that's what we need to have. That's Chief Green's job. He needs to be here to answer these questions. So let's have him
Madam
here.
Secretaries, if we could please extend an invitation to the chief to be here on Monday at 4:30, that would be amazing.
I'm gonna send, and if we got questions to send to, so that way he can have the data. How many children are they picking up? How many parents aren't picking up? How many children? We know that in 2024, 10 children were shot.
I think if anything, we want to strengthen the
Penalties?
for parents.
Yeah.
But we're also limited by state law, I think, as to how much we can do.
What can we do?
Attorney
what can
Capps.
we do penalty-wise through
We can do
through you to the
misdemeanors,
city-
that's it.
to
Then
the
we
city
then we
attorney.
turn felonies over.
We can charge frequent housing fees of $500 an hour that they don't show up. We can charge that.
We could actually.
Can we get around it like that?
Yeah,
Well,
we could.
I don't know if
Attorney Capps.
our city attorney is listening. Point of order, point of information.
I think in general, that's something we need to take a look at. And
One second. Go ahead, Attorney Capps.
I think
I'm sorry. Go ahead with your request. I'm sorry.
Where are the parents gonna get the $500 from?
He was just putting it out there. He was just.
They need to go to.
Attorney Cups, go ahead.
Yeah, I think in general, that's something we would need to take a look at and see what the maximum penalty allowable is under city ordinance.
These state. Madam Chair, so can we have that by, to Attorney Cups?
Monday.
Can we have that Monday to know how far, because one, just, if you got officers literally picking up these folks' kids and they don't come get them, you know, 2:20, 2:30 in the morning, they're still there. And you got a mother and a father. So those are 10 adults who left their 5 kids in the custody of the police. And they feed them during that time. And so what can we do? You know, what's the amount of the fine? Do we know? Is it 500?
I was thinking currently it was $250.
Oh, that's it?
That's what I believe, yes.
So so can you check what the max is? Is that the max?
I'm not sure. We can check.
Can we check what the max is? Because sometimes parents don't understand until you hit them in their pocket. And then maybe we can do it a graduated, maybe the first time, but the police end up knowing who these children are. That is a fact. I've stood before parents with the Michigan State Police, and the kid was dead on the ground, and the father, the Michigan State Police knew Whit Flint Police because he had been a menace. He had actually killed somebody, and then someone killed him. He was 16. We take our money, and the money for the jail comes here, and it's supposed to go over there, but it always goes over late. That's why our relationship is kind of poor with the county, with the jail part. That was traditionally, unless they start paying them on time, but that was a big problem. But can we take them we don't have enough room. And so can we take them to Lapeer County, Oakland County, because that becomes a problem with housing, because our juvenile detention center that's new gets full.
I don't know that we want to do that.
We got to figure out where to.
We do.
Motion to send this to special affairs.
There's a motion to send to special
Support.
affairs by the councilman in the 8th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 4th ward. Roll call, Madam Secretaries. Oh, darn, Dennis, you still have to go.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashup?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Jared is not in. Mr. Al-Alamin is not in. You have 6 yes, 0 no.
Voted 6 yes, 0 no. Ordinance 260228 has been sent to special affairs. There's a motion to adjourn at 7:47 p.m. by Councilman in the 8th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 4th ward. Roll call, Madam Secretaries.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashup?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Jared is absent. Al-Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis is absent. That's 6 yes, 0 no.
6 yes, 0 no. The time is 7:47 p.m. on Wednesday, June 17th. I hereby adjourn this legislative committee meeting. Oh, I don't know. Wait a minute. Like, where aren't you taking this? Huh?
Stop playing. Ain't nobody trying to get there sooner than you have to.
Has everybody signed in that wants to speak for this meeting? Ain't nobody talking to you. Anybody?
Be combative with the audience.
It's not in a meeting.
Yeah. It's your first warning. Yeah. All right, then I'm going to get this meeting started. We're going to bypass the 5-minute delay. 7:48, we are going to bring Government Operations Committee to order. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Al-Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson? Present. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat? Present. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
And Mr. Jared is not in. We have 6 members present.
6 members present. Reading of disorderly person city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code section 31-10. Ms. Biggs, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons. Any person will be arrested for misdemeanor. The twins. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of the meeting will be given 1 warning, Ms. Burns. If they persist in disrupting this meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Judy? Violators will be removed from the meeting. Any requests or additions to the agenda?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Per Council Member Lewis, she would like to postpone the 2, actually.
So, Madam Secretary.
Yeah, we don't do vote by
Proxy.
so
No.
I understand the request, but we don't do vote by proxy. Thank you, though. Hearing no additions or changes, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk.
Secretary.
Madam Secretary / Clerk. Madam Clerk Secretary.
Mr. Chair.
Public speaker number 1, thank you.
That sounds terrible. Sounds like public enemy.
Yeah.
First public speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, City Council. I'm Ira L. Mitchell. About the situation they call about DD8 in the city of Flint. And in the 8th Ward dude over there, I think 8th Ward and 9th Ward, as you people know, Father's Day gonna be Sunday. You ain't mentioned nothing about Father's Day, just like you ain't mentioned nothing about the rodeo and stuff. And notice it ain't a black man in the seat. That black father right there, he gone, and the black father over there, he gone. The ward and all that stuff. And the black fire chief, police chief, Green ain't in here. And he talking about get the drunken kids off the street. And when the boys are barbecuing with them thongs, the police that accused him of attacking, he right back there right now. And that girl that gave me that phone, he's trying to get that phone out of his face, and he was filming right there. And he already, Tarzan already straightened it out. He said he ain't gonna stop till he get him off the fort. He ain't worth his daddy's sperm. You know what other dude said he ain't worth the sperm. The sperm he made it, you son of a gun, up there spraying the people food and stuff and all that. A dude put him in jail for 3 days, and the dude didn't know he was kidnapped. And his daddy was here. He said, and the sister jumped up to him, he ain't able to take care of his own son. And sprayed and all that stuff in the boy. And the man said, you take them guns off, macho to macho, right in here. And Tarzan, only one spoke up. You, man, only one spoke up. Like a black man don't count, nowhere in the United States. Drunken Edomites, think y'all is. You jump. Don't like talking about what to the kids. Daddy's scared to get him out of jail because somebody hit him by the pocket. Ms. Burns said that. Hit him $500 if you don't come to get your little brats, whatever them son of a guns out of jail. The parents ain't scared to get them out of jail with all that junk. You know, like that Irish dude, Roman Catholic. Every time I go out over there, get one of them beats, he looked at me. What you doing to come in here? He didn't want me to come in here. He went and got a plate. Here, take your dinner. Get away from this church. And all this junk up in here. Flint, who you think you is? You like I say, New York, stay tuned. And you're going to see how the darkies deal with these pale faces in here. Are talking all that junk. Trump, you stupid, wicked. What do you think? In school today, it's June the 17th, over there south. Only school in Flint. And they're going to build Central. Won't you build Northern? Hello? The AIDS and stuff over there. COVID-19. You thinking? You up, you.
Thank you.
You up. You fire chief bigots. Who you think you is, you black donkey? You idiot, man, look at you. Take that.
That's the best TED Talk I've been to.
Next public speaker and the last public speaker will be Mona Eunice.
She waited patiently. Oh, that was a lot with Ariel.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mona Monroe Eunice, and when I signed up to speak tonight regarding the MOU for the comprehensive plan update, I wasn't sure if this was the correct moment. I understand from Rod Slaughter that we will have time when the resolution is called. So I just want to say this is an important conversation tonight, and I'm here with acting chair of the Planning Commission, Carol Ann Blauer. I'm also on the Planning Commission. We just really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and I won't take up more time now, but I'm glad we'll be able to get to that agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you. Now on to council response. Any members of council wish to respond to the public? Seeing none, we move on to the consent agenda.
Separation.
Complete separation. First resolution 260187. Is there a motion?
But they're going to discuss, so we'll do it for discussion purposes. I make a motion to send resolution 260187 to council.
Motion is made by 7, supported by 4. Any discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the first round?
Yes.
Fourth Ward councilperson.
So, I guess we have to talk to members of the Planning Commission through you to through our chairman of the Planning Commission, maybe?
Good evening, Carolyn Blauer, acting chair of the Planning Commission.
Hello, Carolyn. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And a valued member on the Planning Commission from the 4th Ward. So according to our notes that you have, the only changes is that you define the roles of what each department is going to do, the Planning Commission, Steering Commission, et cetera. Is that the only changes that were made to this from what we've seen over and over again?
Yes. So reminder that the MOU is simply just setting out roles and roles of the administration, city council, and planning commission, as well as bless you, as well as setting of the steering committee. Which again, the steering committee is not; it's just an advising body. It has no, they would just make recommendations to both the Planning Commission and back to City Council. So there would be no, this is not the plan. This is simply for the MOU to get started talking and revising the plan in the future.
Okay, because I know that the beginning of this happened several years ago, and it sat for what, 2 years now, or a year and a half?
Well, the launch of it did start in 2024, so we should have started in 2023. That was the 10-year. So by state regulation, we are to review and revise at the 10-year mark. So that would have been 2023. It wasn't until 2024 that staff kind of started to move that forward. So we kind of launched it. So we notified communities around us, and we started some pre-planning. So the MOU really is the starting point. So technically, we have not started the process until we get to that MOU. We get it approved by City Council. We set rules and kind kind of how we are going to move forward, and then we start after the MOU is agreed upon.
Okay, that's been a very, I thought we had started the process and then it stalled out.
So-
I attended several of those planning meetings.
Yes, so we have done a little bit of pre-planning. There was a consultant for pre-planning, as well as notification of nearby communities. But other than that, we have not done anything because we want to all start on the same page. We want City Council to be on the same page as Planning Commission, so we are all moving forward together. So we are not doing things and then bringing them to council. You guys aren't familiar with it, and we get into this cycle of sending things back and forth. The MOU is the starting point of the process.
Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Okay, anyone else in the first round? Anyone else in the first round? Seeing no one else, I will take my time. Are you aware, was there an MOU in 2013 for the original process?
Yes, so this was based on, it was actually 2011, started
Okay.
the process for the 2013 plan. So that was also a 2-year process. So it came before council in 2011. And this was, we did make some changes. One in particular, we changed, it was 60% residents on the steering committee in the 2013 plan. We have changed it based on feedback from the community to 90%. So steering committee, we have set for the standards of 90% residents and not necessarily stakeholders.
Is my understanding that also the number on the steering committee increased, the total number? Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar what the total of the steering committee was in 2013.
Okay. My issue is the last time, like, it's not clear who is appointing who, or who is appointing.
We don't.
Who is the body that is appointing everyone? And I don't see in the language where the planning commission appoints anyone. And to the gentleman that came up last time said that the planning commission appoints like 15 people or something like that.
So it is up to, I believe, 21 members, according to the MOU. I'm going to refer to Mona to grab the language for that. So the steering committee is created by the Planning Commission based on the State Enabling Act. The Michigan Enabling Act credits the Planning Commission of each municipality to not necessarily create a steering committee, but to create the process. So we had, let me refer to.
So can you point to me where it says the steering committee is going to actually appoint people?
So, yes.
Because it says that you were going to do the chairs and the co-chairs, but it doesn't actually say how those folks actually get appointed.
Yep, so I believe that it just calls out that city council,
So to my knowledge, one person from city council will appoint one person per each thing. The mayor does one.
Correct.
And that's all plain language on the numbers, but it doesn't actually state where the other members get appointed from and who appoints them. There's no language in there on the remaining 20, or of the 21 minus the 9 and the city council person and the mayor's one, so that's 11. Where it doesn't actually state who appoints the other 10.
well, I think it's, are you familiar with that?
Okay. I wish you had that breakdown.
What they doing?
RL.
We're just reading. Okay, so.
You want to introduce yourself?
Lock it up.
Hi.
I just don't have it memorized. So, Daquan, do you have that in front of you? So, there would be co-chairs, two coming from the Planning Commission. But then there should be a place in here where it talks about, I think there were 8 that the steering committee, the Planning Commission would. Sorry, say it again. Okay, so we're looking on page 3.
Yep.
Under steering committee. So the steering committee will consist of no more than 21 members. Like you were saying, Flint City Council, each ward will have 1 member assigned by city council members. And then the Planning Commission may set criteria or guidelines for selecting steering committee members and co-chairs by majority vote of the Planning Commission.
Your first warning.
Should I continue?
Yeah,
Is that
please
okay?
continue.
Okay. And then after that, it says 2 co-chairs may be selected from the Planning Commission by majority vote of the commission. 4 co-chairs and the remaining steering committee members will be selected by the Planning Commission, except for those steering committee members appointed by council. So if I remember correctly, I think Planning Commission, even though we have 8 seats, 9 seats, we'd be selecting 8, the remainder of the 8.
So, which planning commissioner would be left out?
It's by majority vote.
Yeah.
So, like the first ward possibly would be lacking representation? If they're only presenting 8, how is that?
I think, so I will say, on the Planning Commission, we are always attuned to making sure that there's, that we're making sure all the wards are covered. There will also be planning commissioners on here, so we can consider that in this election, because we'll have 2 co-chairs coming from the Planning Commission onto the steering committee, so that there's a link.
Where does it say that planning commission are going to be part of the steering committee?
It's under steering committee, part 4. 2 co-chairs will be selected from the Planning Commission by majority vote of the commission membership. So that would be the way to do it. I believe the reason that there's 21 members instead of 22, like you were saying, if there would be 1 more added, is it's always good to have an odd number for votes, right?
Sure.
So I believe that's how the total of 21 on the steering committee came to be.
So, how, RL, please.
And I believe it also said that there's going to be 1 Flint City Council member on the steering committee as well.
So,
yeah.
No one that we appoint or the mayor appoints will be eligible to be a co-chair?
So if we look at steering committee, this on page 3,
Yep.
Steering committee part 5, 4 co-chairs and the remaining steering committee members will be selected by the Planning Commission. So there will be.
So that's of. RL, please. How does that logistically work? So you're going to select those after everyone is appointed?
I think what we would have to do is do a call for whoever's interested, right? And in terms of Planning Commission to fill those seats, and then you all would pick your people, and then from that convened group, then we would fill those 4 remaining co-chair seats. So you're right, you're correct. We would populate all the seats, and then we would then we would be able to select the 4 co-chairs. The 4 additional, the 4 co-chairs.
Okay, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. So we select 1, right? So that's 9. The mayor selects 1, that's 10.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 from the planning commission, right? There's 12. And then the remaining 9, 1.
One from,
Do you want the mic?
one from you guys sit on. So 1 from city council.
So that's 11.
Right.
13, including the 2 from planning commission, correct?
Correct.
So now we're at 8. So somebody's going to be underrepresented, right?
What do you mean?
Yes. Because one commissioner on your board won't be able to appoint someone. And how is that logistically going to work? Who is going to be designated to say you don't get a spot? And why would that be?
Do you want to? It's a good question, and I think my response to that is, one, the steering committee is not meant to be a one-to-one representative for each ward. The idea is that we're convening people who are really passionate about the community and have different skill sets, who can help bring different perspectives together, and are advising the process for community engagement for the plan, right? And so with the way this is stated too, like Carolyn was saying earlier, in the previous iteration, it called for 60% of the steering committee members to be residents. We heard, look, we want more community representation. We bumped that to, it says a minimum of 90. So it doesn't have to be a one-to-one. It leaves a little bit of room. If there's a stakeholder who, for example, is really involved in the community, maybe not be a resident, but lends a really important perspective. So
I would just say that whatever council member is on that, then that planning commission board doesn't get a vote. Meaning if 7th Ward person wants to be on that steering committee, then the 7th Ward is the vacant vote on the remaining 8 seats, if that makes sense.
I believe how we are going to move forward with those remaining seats, we will take the interested parties and vote on them as a whole of a commission. We are not coming forward name for name at the Planning Commission for someone from our ward to be on the steering committee. It will not be, I'm representing 4th Ward, I'm bringing forward somebody from the 4th Ward. We will be taking the collective interested parties and having discussion and then placing them on the board. So it will not be kind of 3rd Ward has a 3rd Ward person, 4th Ward brings a 4th Ward person. It is us taking the remaining seats and trying to fill them with the most diverse group that we can get.
But I think to your point as well, and I want to look back in here, I think there is language in here about wanting to make sure that there is, okay, so if we look at the very first page, I'm looking at the staff review form, and the edits that were made to this version of the MOU based on feedback that came back from council previously. So looking at number 2, it says language will be added specifying that at least 1 member from each ward will be appointed to the steering committee with the goal of having equal representation from all wards. So that was already addressed prior to this coming back.
Yeah, and that's my point. I think it should be equal representation in each ward. That's my hang up, because good or bad, there's a lot of folks from the 7th Ward that want to turn everything into apartments. And I don't want only 7th Ward people steering
Request for information.
No. Look, we all know it's true. We all know it's true. Like, that's my fear, is I want to make sure that the first ward, the second ward, the third ward has the same voice as the seventh ward or the sixth ward that may have more folks that want to be active but want to turn us into apartments. And that's not represented, that's not representative of the entire city.
Do you mind if I'd like to share just a reflection. When the comprehensive plan was updated back in 2012, 2013, I was really involved as a resident because I was very concerned about, one, it had been 50 years. The city that the previous plan had been, the state of the community was very different in the 1960s. I was really interested in hearing what everybody was saying, and I just wanted to make sure that we had a really equitable and vibrant plan that was going to propel Flint forward. And so I was really involved on an advisory committee for environmental features. That's something I'm very passionate about, environmental features in parks and open space. And I was very involved in the whole process. In the very last year, I was invited to join the steering committee. And I hear what you're saying, I really do. But I think the perspective I want to lend to this is when you're updating a comprehensive plan, what you want to do is it's a plan that's looking over kind of every aspect of life, right? It is housing, it's parks, it has to do with some aspects of infrastructure, education. I'm trying to remember all of the chapters. Land use, arts and culture. It's kind of everything. And so when I think about a steering committee, yes, we want representation from all wards, and we want it to be as equitable as possible and very, very thoughtful. And we also need a skill set that bridges all of these areas. And so the way the MOU is written now, with the improvements that came back from council, I think sets us up to be able to have a really robust steering committee. And the steering committee is helping to do things like set the pace for community engagement, help provide feedback on what that community engagement would look like. The goal is that we're going to be having engagement in all of the wards, right? It's not just a goal, it's going to happen. It's going to be on different topics. So, I'm not quite sure how to balance this any better, because we also need content expertise and different perspectives. And so I think that, I guess my hope coming out of today, because there is also, we're 2 years behind, right? And it's come back and forth a couple of times, and there's funding on the line. The city is going to start losing funding if we don't actually get into implementation. We really need to, I think it's good. So I'm not sure how to resolve your concern. I'm hearing it. I'm just trying to think how to resolve it, but also balance. We need all these content experts as well, knowing that 90%.
I just don't want to see the committee with 5 members from the 5th ward or 5 members from the 7th ward in driving a certain aspect as the main thing. We're not getting proper representation from the other wards. That's my concern.
Sure, that makes sense. I think you wanted to say something.
I just pointed out, and this was a comment made, this understanding of your concerns. But the steering committee is not, they're not setting this plan. They're not drafting any of the plan. They are not, it will be the planning commission as a whole with staff's help, and it will come to city council. We will be having the public meetings at both planning commission and city council. We will be reviewing and revising the plan. It will not be steering committee. Steering committee is solely just processing the engagement with the neighborhoods, how we are reaching out, how we're using technology, kind of subjects at hand that are of interest, things that may be new or that we haven't looked at or thought about. And that's all the steering committee is doing.
And can I add also making sure, I'm sorry, just making sure that the language is accessible, right? Things like that, being attuned to the process to make sure that it's a good process.
All right, my 5 minutes are almost up, so I'll yield. Anybody in the second round? Anyone in the second round? Go ahead.
Good evening. So I do get where both of you are saying, and what Councilman Pfeiffer, you're saying council gets the final decision, is what you're saying,
Yeah.
right?
By
They give a recommendation.
By state law, Planning Commission
Right.
is responsible for the revision, and then we would make recommendation to City Council. So yes, City
That
Council
is-
would get final say.
That's what I'm saying, and I do understand that part, because it's just like our other advisory committees, and that's how they work. You bring a recommendation, whether you recommend it yay or nay. But I do understand with Councilman Pfeiffer stating, and I think people have to understand, we've seen some things that have happened that just are corrupt. Not saying that any of you are, because I know you have good intentions. And Mona, I've seen you around. I know you care about this community, all of you. And I get what he's saying, that if there is a project that enough people want, that the steering committee may send it, to it, but because it's not saying in Ward 2, 3, and 5, like, we have to get these people from this ward for the steering committee. Is that what you're saying? That the balance may be off? Because you're getting a large portion, and it could all be from wards 1, 2, and 3. And the other wards may not get them. And so it wouldn't be a balance where the steering committee lives. And so, is that what you're stating?
Well, there's a bunch of housing activists in this town that want apartments and everything else. I don't want 6 of those people
On the board. Okay, I get, because I get where you're at. And then I'm looking at data centers too. So, I mean, I think if we're looking, at that, and when we look at some of these projects, how is it a way you can say for the steering committee that they come out of each ward?
Yes.
So that's, okay.
Yes.
And also, just kind of going back to, let's see. I think am I looking at the?
So I think the clarification is,
You're right.
it states that each of the wards would be represented. It just does not state that, say, the planning commission's members will be each ward, or, it's just overall, all of the wards will be represented.
I think we need to have specific. Yeah, and we only have one. I think it has to be balanced on your end too.
I think this is where this comes in, and I
There
think,
goes my time, Mona.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I
No,
apologize.
You can go ahead on my
Okay,
turn.
I apologize for interrupting. I'm just looking at the staff review form, and again, the edits that were added to this version, I think where this is in here is it says the language will be added specifying at least one member from each ward will be appointed to the steering committee with the goal of having equal representation from all wards. And so when we're going through the process of selecting our 8 members, we will have to know where's the ward of the person that the mayor has selected. I think it's in here.
Well, the goal is not in there. That's too broad of a word. So it needs to be more specific, to say specifically that person, because we don't appoint to the planning commission. It's not our appointment. The mayor appoints everyone to the planning commission. And it's supposed to work, he sends up a resolution, and then he's supposed to work with council. We know we're a split council. So it's his commission. And so, I mean, and it's designed to help whomever the mayor is, to, what is their vision. And all of the appointments to the planning commission are the mayor's. Now, mayor did send up and ask somebody to have me remove someone else. That's not my job. I don't have that. That's his person, not mine. And we know he has a strange relationship with the truth sometimes. But I think Councilman Pfeiffer is stating, we need to make sure that we're balanced. And he's talking about housing. Others are, we have a moratorium on data centers. We need to have a specific language so that it's not a gray area with a goal. Okay, goal doesn't give a definitive number or designation of where the person should come from. And I think that needs to be specific so that there's a balance. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I guess where I'm struggling is to figure out what.
So you should say, so if you have, so say you're in the 8th Ward, then from the 8th Ward, you would pick how many people?
Well, there's 21 members, so.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think we could.
Would you would be picking 2?
No.
1? How many? 1?
Overall. So planning, you mean in terms of steering committee?
Steering committee.
Steering committee 2.
Then your 2 from 8th Ward, your 2 should come from 8th Ward. And so and then it should be like a balance for each ward. And the person who's in the 6th Ward should pick 2 from the 6th Ward. And if we do that, throughout, then we're creating a balance that each ward is represented fairly and equitably.
Hello. I think each planning commission will pick 1 each.
She said 2, but is it 1?
No. Two actual planning commissioners actually sits on the steering committee.
That's what I said.
But then each planning commissioner gets to appoint 1, and that will make pretty much everything balance out. Or
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I apologize. But we're for the planning commission. We would and we would collectively deciding on that. And I will say, like, one thing that I really love about serving on the planning commission is that we are really good about working together and getting through difficult things and making sure in all of our decisions that the wards are all represented. And so I guess maybe I'm just coming at this with a little bit less about that because of the way we have worked together really consistently. Because the top, like literally when in 2024, and I will say I'm one of the people on the Planning Commission that really pushed to have an update of the comprehensive plan because it doesn't take into account the water crisis. It doesn't take into account the population loss since that time or the pandemic or all of the, a lot of changes since 2013. And so there was an interest forum that staff pushed out to the community in 2024 to say, at some point there's going to be an update to the comprehensive plan. We want to see who in the community is interested. And the first thing that we have been asking as those have been tracked is what wards are responding. And then I will say as a resident, not even as a representative of the Planning Commission, because I'm not an official spokesperson, I'm not the chair, but I was going to meetings, community meetings in the wards that were underrepresented to say we are lacking. I'm trying to remember what the words were. I think it was like 1, 2, and 3, or something like that. Going, we need people from these wards to be signing up to be, for these, to putting their kind of name in the hat, right? So we're already doing it. So I get your point. Like you want it to be very balanced and fair. That's what I'm hearing. Is the concern is to make sure that there is an equitable process to make sure nobody is overrepresented or underrepresented. I think we can achieve that. It may not, I think what we need to do is be attuned to that when we're filling those seats, keeping in mind the planning commissioner, like who's on the steering committee. I think we can do that. My question is, can we move this forward? Can we move this forward, the MOU forward as is for a council vote that would get it past the finish line? And because one of the other things that we haven't talked about is, that I was gonna bring up is, one, there's state funding that cannot flow to the city if we don't have an updated comprehensive plan. When there's big projects, and I don't have a specific one in mind, but just in general, funders will ask, where's your comprehensive plan that's been updated? We're quite a bit past when it should have been. And then the second thing is, we just learned about a week ago that the local funders have funded staff positions at the city to support this process in a grant that began in 2024 and was supposed to end at the end of May. They've extended it to the end of June, and the city is, and this is part of the urgency, is the city is like this close to losing $130,000 to cover staff support for this community engagement process.
So Ms. Chair, we're just asking to add the language in, and I get you believe in the honor system. It doesn't always work here, unfortunately. So I'm saying if we can put it in writing, just that, and it looks like that's only where we're at.
Okay.
To say, let's put it in writing. No, I will not vote to move it until it's in writing, because I've seen things be voted on here and we don't have answers. We just voted on a program to give money to organizations. We don't have not one name of the organizations, 5 of them. And I won't do that. And I think that's just a simple, to say, let's do this for each ward that we have this. And I think it's a quick amendment to have it done, where we can send it to special affairs, because it's not going to pass until Monday anyways.
Yeah.
So we can amend it, and then in special affair, or have the language. Do you, Mr. Cups, Attorney Cups, do you get, Mr. Chair, can we have that amendment? Do you get what I'm saying? That we have each ward represented where it's equal. Because we need to have it on paper, I'm sorry.
And may I ask a clarifying question? I don't know if now's a good.
I want him to answer first.
Sure.
And then Mo.
I definitely understand the point you're making. I have not had any involvement with the drafting of this document.
Who drafted it? What? You got to draft this stuff?
It's just coming from the planning commission.
I guess it's coming from the planning commission, and we've had support from zoning staff.
So it's still, do you know it's got to be vetted through legal? Did they tell you that?
I thought it was. vetted through
He's
legal
saying he hasn't
already.
seen it.
Well, probably another attorney might have.
I have not seen it. There
You have
could
not?
very well have been another attorney from the law department who has reviewed it. I'm just not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Chair.
It's not signed off by an attorney.
Okay. I thought, okay.
I just, can we rewind? Because I don't know if we ever had the answer about data centers or anything that was asked.
So data centers don't even appear in as it stands, the current comprehensive plan. There was some language about an intermodal hub, but see, that's the purpose of having an update, right? Because that's like, and even if you think about like the marijuana ordinance, like none of that existed then.
Right.
And so if we're not keeping this updated as a living document, we're really falling behind and having strategic ways of planning for our future as a community. So, there wouldn't be, it would be part of the whole conversation for the plan update. But what I was going to ask, and I'm sorry for interrupting, I'm just trying to think through if we were to add more specific language, what would that look like? And it seems to me that perhaps there needs to be stronger, and where it would appear in here. So, say again?
Are you just trying to have them add the language where it says all wards will be equally
that's
represented?
That's it.
Oh, okay. So this has to come back to Planning Commission if we do an amendment.
Yes, as I believe, if we were to amend, we would have to take it back to Planning Commission. That would have to be approved to move it back forward through the channels to get back to you.
So even if we tried to move this to special affairs, we still couldn't do it because it would have to be amended, that one section, just to say that all wards would be equally represented, would have to go back through you?
I believe that, yes, because it's a document from our body to your body and not necessarily a resolution. So I believe that that would have to have the approval of the body before it moved back to you.
Oh, well, certainly understand, but I also understand my colleague's position of we have had to learn the hard way that if we do not get it in writing, the intention is whatever it is at the time that the person who said they would do it.
Can I ask one clarifying question? If we have 21 members on here, would everybody on council be comfortable saying that, I'm just throwing this out there as just trying to think about how to operationalize an amendment, that at least each ward would have at least 2, because then it would be 18, right? So when we're looking at the overall composition, council's already each picking 1, and then, mayor and planning commission are filling the rest, right? So,
Right, because you're trying to come up with an odd number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what it has been before, and it was, I felt it was effective back then because, like I said, we had so many different perspectives to
No,
to
we
inform that,
clearly
so-
understand why you need an odd number. It's fine. You would be stuck if you did not have an odd number.
Yeah, because
Yes.
however we do it, we're going to end up with an odd number for the sake of voting. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what.
So you're saying
would
more
be-
specific, like you want to say that each ward would have 2 members? I mean, 2.
in the
yeah.
overall selection,
Yes.
right? Because I'm hearing what you're saying, but then the question is, what would the actual amendment be, right? So I think maybe where that amendment would come in is under steering committee on page 3, part 2, which talks about the composition of the steering committee overall, right? And it talks about, like I said, a minimum of 90% of members shall reside in the city, but maybe there's a sentence that comes after this that says, yeah, at least 2 from each ward.
Also, on page 3, under steering committee, bullet point 6, it reads, the steering committee will not be a broad assigned with decision-making authority over the plan. I don't know if that helps, but, like, Carolyn Bauer said, that, they're not essentially making any decisions. They just going through review period and doing edit and documentations within the work that's being passed through.
Yeah, so I think we're all under, at least the majority of us are, we want it documented in equal representation. And I think that one of the other things is the equal representation needs to be deducted from, like, just, I'll use myself because I don't want to. If I'm the council person that is on that committee, and then the 8th Ward council, or the 8th Ward person is on, the 8th Ward Planning Commission person is on there, and then we each appoint a person, and then possibly the mayor throws in an 8th Ward, 5 of the 21, there's a potential could be out of the 8th Ward. That's what I don't want to see.
Yeah, and if I may, so the reason I'm pushing back on the word equal is just because with 21 members, there's no way to ensure that. So if we could,
but
if we could,
the
say,
Senate is 100. That's an even number, right? I think the House of Representatives is an even number. I think the odd number thing may be when there's that many people, for it to be a statistical tie is probably 0 to none. Like, I don't know. It's going to be hard to be a 10-10 vote if it's 20 or 11-11. Like, it's just probably statistically impossible to be that divided on a planning commission item.
So you're saying we should have 18 or 27? That's what I'm hearing you say.
No, no,
Right.
because there can be folks that are outside, like if we wanted an architect that doesn't live in the city or something like that,
Right.
like that could be part of the 2, or it could be at least 18 of the members need to be from the ward. And
Yeah,
I'm saying three of them cannot be, or.
I
they're-
think we're saying the same thing.
But it's not on the document, that's
No,
what
no,
we're saying.
but I get, what I'm trying to do is just brainstorm what that language would be so
Sure.
that we can move it forward. So if we, I guess what I'm trying to get your, council feedback on is if we're stuck on this, and I'm only speaking for myself because I also feel like this urgency to get this passed, and if we don't have this approved by Monday as it's written, I'm just saying this is the reality of the situation. The city could lose this money. It's kind of a separate issue, but it's connected, right?
No offense, but we get told that we're losing money,
All the
and
time.
we get fake deadlines, and we get stuff brought before us every week that says, you need to pass this or else.
Okay.
So I'm not even hearing that.
Okay.
Not
So-
trying to be rude, but
No,
we hear that
I
every
appreciate
day.
it. So if this is gonna come back to planning commission with, some improvement from the city council, what makes sense to me, and I think we would probably want the city attorney to make sure this is cool, is on page 3, under steering committee part 2, add a sentence,
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
We need to have legal do this because they haven't signed off.
Okay.
And then to add that, because I think going back and forth, we're staying stuck.
Okay.
And to make it equal, that's what, they get paid a lot of money for that. So that way we could have it right. Comes like, not really.
We don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, can we, because I think that we're just stuck on just that one, to make it equal, which we're all basically saying the same, well, for fair representation. And that's not being done. And we are, I think at this point, the ones who are here, it needs to be in writing. And so and it's not signed off, and all of our, according to our chief legal attorney, she wants to sign off on everything. It's not signed off on. And I don't know if you know it on our end, it's not, which means she hasn't approved it anyways. And so if we can get through you, Madam Secretary, to make sure, for referral to have it done by special affairs with
Well,
the
it
legal.
doesn't matter. It has to go back.
Can you guys do an emergency meeting? You can't do a 24-hour meeting? Just to vote on this, if it's that important?
Well, we meet
they
on
would-
Tuesday anyway, so I don't know if it, we meet on.
Before Monday.
Before Monday?
Your Monday?
We
meet
won't.
next Tuesday.
We adjourn from June 22nd, which is Monday, until July 22nd.
You need 24 hours, what, 18, how many hours you need? 24 hours for a
Yeah,
meeting?
I would say that you need to get the language approved, get it done, and then bring it back before us in July. It's not gonna happen by Monday, just not going to. The law department doesn't work that fast. You guys
For
don't.
one sentence, though?
No, trust me, they don't.
Okay.
I mean, but, so ultimately, that one sentence is up to you all to get that in there and get it to them. If it's just one sentence, then,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So if you can do an emergency meeting, I would do an emergency meeting.
I don't think that they're gonna do an emergency meeting on a Friday.
I would do it, you in and out, one thing. Get your form, get them in, and
I-
that way it's ready for Monday.
I would just note that Friday's a city and a federal holiday as
Oh,
well.
right.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Juneteenth.
Oh.
Can't you do a meeting on a Saturday?
Can you meet Monday, early Monday?
Not for us, for them.
Can you meet tomorrow at midnight? No.
Yeah, I mean, they can meet,
So,
I mean,
at this point,
for us, that, we don't need to prove theirs for.
at this point, I'm just gonna take a motion a motion to send it back to planning.
I have a question. What if we make the changes and,
We do, it's a planning document. It's no
Yeah.
different than the zoning thing, so,
in one sentence?
yeah, we have to approve or deny. So, is there a motion to send this back to planning commission? It's moved. Any support? I'll support it. All right, fifth ward, motion to send this back to planning commission by 7, supported by 5. And then to make you're gonna get with legal to, make the amendment and get it approved by legal, at your next meeting, hopefully.
Thank you all for your time. We really appreciate it.
Mr. Slaughter,
He's gone. Madam Secretary, roll call
You trying
to
get in
send
that
us back to
elevator.
planning.
Yeah, but they need to, why didn't they go to?
Mr. Alamin's not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley? Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett is not in. 6 yes, 0 no.
Motion to adjourn by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Is there support by 4th? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley? Ms. Winfrey Carter? Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett's not in. Mr. Alamin's not in. 6 yes, 0 no.
6 yes, 0 no. 8:44, we are adjourned.